unprecedented. I have scores of clips of mainstream media calling for INFOWARs to be taken off the air. We have Nancy Pelosi's venomous daughter leading the attempt to overturn the election with the electors, saying that I caused her to get death threats, so I need to be shut down. This is last night on Cavuto, after I was told by sources that they're coming after me via Pelosi. Meanwhile, electors are being harassed to not vote for Trump, the opposite of what they claim. But here's John Bound's report.
Barely 2 months after the United Nations nominated Wonder Woman as an ambassador for women and girls, the UN announced that they would be ending Wonder Woman's ambassadorship. In October, the United Nations said it was about women and girls everywhere who are Wonder Women in their own right and the men and boys who support their struggle for gender equality. But the announcement was met with protests and a petition complaining that the fictional superhero was an inappropriate choice to represent female empowerment. A large-breasted white woman of impossible proportions, scantily clad in shimmery thigh-bearing bodysuit with an American flag motif and knee-high boots, is not an appropriate spokeswoman for gender equity at the United Nations, the petition said. Of course, the petition missed the point, leaning on racism and sexism to express their disapproval of Wonder Woman, a daughter of Zeus, an Amazonian princess of Mediterranean origin, seeker of truth and justice, armed with her lasso of truth and bulletproof bracelets, representing the best qualities in all women and girls, no different than Superman and his identical role model status to men and boys. But unfortunately, there is a darker side to Wonder Woman that the petition failed to point out. American psychologist William Moulton Marston created Wonder Woman. He based Wonder Woman on the personalities of the women he was in a polyamorous relationship with. Marston drew from the nature of his wife, Sadie, and Marston's live-in mistress, Olive Byrne, who just so happened to be the daughter of Ethel Byrne, who opened the first birth control clinic in the United States with her older sister, Margaret Sanger. What better representative to push the UN Sustainable Development Goal number 5, achieve gender equality and the empowerment of all women and girls, than a superhero based on Olive Byrne, representing the beginning of the eugenics movement in the United States while simultaneously promoting polyamory, which isn't bad in itself. People are free to live their lives as they choose. But on a widespread scale, Marston's extramarital arrangement thumbs its nose at the family unit. If the United Nations had missed the connection that Marston's feminist superhero represented, the UN certainly supports Marston's intentions as the UN spearheads Margaret Sanger's campaign of eugenics. Back in 2012, the United Nations declared that birth control was a human right. That same year, CNS News reported in 2012 there were more black babies killed by abortion, 31,328 in New York City, than were born there, 24,758. And the black children killed comprised 42.4% of the total number of abortions in the Big Apple, according to a report by New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. The Washington Times reported Sanger shaped the eugenics movement in America and beyond in the 1930s and 1940s. Her views and those of her peers in the movement contributed to compulsory sterilization laws in 30 U.S. states that resulted in more than 60,000 sterilizations of vulnerable people, including people she considered, quote, feeble-minded idiots and morons, end quote. She even presented at a Ku Klux Klan rally in 1926 in Silver Lake, New Jersey. Sanger wrote, "We do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. The United Nations shouldn't hide behind superheroes to promote their 17 sustainable goals of world domination. We know who their real heroes are." John Bound for INFOWARS.com.
Excellent report by John Bound. Take a pop story, turn it towards real news. It is Thursday, December 15th, 2016. I'm Alex Jones, your host, coming to you from deep in the heart of Texas, Austin. Thank you for joining us. This is the battle for the Republic. There is a compilation of enemy media the last week and a half attacking me, globalist occupation government media, and just like NPR and other channels, they are afraid. They're saying, he's convincing, he's dangerous, shut him down. We have a First Amendment, but not for this. Get him off the air. CNN, MSNBC, CNN. This doesn't even have the NPR clips where they're like, he's convincing, he's dangerous. But when I read WikiLeaks where you call us dumb and how you want us to be poor and in the dark and alone. How psychopathic is that? We want them desperate, in the dark, alone, and poor. I know you agree, Mr. Podesta. Move forward operations. We must please George Soros and break the will of the American people. We need to bring these WikiLeaks back and just do more reports on them and just keep hitting them with it. But I got to tell you, yesterday, Larry Nichols, who's coming back on today, he said, listen, I got a call, and I know for a fact he knows Senator Sessions, and I know for a fact he is one of the big leakers to the Inquirer and others, because I've had the head of the Inquirer on. So that vets what he says. But I've been interviewing Larry for 21 years, former Clinton insider, and he said, listen, I don't know what you've done, but I got off the phone this morning. He was already scheduled the day before to come on the show. He said, I got off the phone this morning with one of the deputies of Senator Sessions, about to be the Attorney General, and they're trying to figure out how to stop the Democrats from doing a plan they've got to come out before Obama leaves office and to have hearings in some federal suit with INFOWAR as a test case, which, by the way, this is going to raise us to Valhalla level. I mean, but it's meant to hurt the rest of the free press. INFOWAR can't lose. This is just total destiny, having the enemy try to shut us up. So people ask why I'm so excited. This is fabulous news if you understand history. Because escape is not my plan. I will face them alone. That's what this comes down to. But we're sitting here looking at this unfold. They are desperate, and I've always talked about this magic moment. When the mainstream media collapses, the dinosaur government collapses, the globalist program collapses because we're promoting Americana, prosperity, freedom, sovereignty, the family, everything normal, natural, that our epigenetics, our culture, our history has ingrained in us. But they could take our parents away at birth, lock us up like zombies. People would still cry out with a hunger for freedom. It's in the DNA of humans all over the world, but more so than others, and varies in every culture. And so they're not putting the genie back in the proverbial bottle. But the fact that they're hitting the absolute panic button with, the Russians ate my homework, the Russians stole the election, the Russians are behind everything, because calling us racist and homophobes doesn't work anymore. It's weird how a lot of the right-wing Christians, who are good people, and I understand their issues and their problems with the whole leftist promotion of homosexuality. I get it's an agenda. I don't hate people individually. But you saw the media lie about Trump that he was anti-gay, so you went and supported him when he never said that. So now they're kind of freaking out going, whoa. Again, this is all part of the deception of the mainstream media. They lied about the polls. They lied about everything. They got caught lying. They're in free fall. And so we always knew they'd hit this moment where government is desperate, backs against the wall, the corrupt elements. When the leftists are desperate all over the world, from Spain to Italy to the UK to Iceland to the United States to Brazil. The system is panicking. The system is melting down. And so they're desperate. And out of their desperation, out of their hysteria, like a drowning man, they are going to make even more mistakes and destroy themselves completely. When they come out and say on every channel, we must shut down Alex Jones, the bottom of the next hour, because I have guests coming up, I'm going to air a 18-minute special report, a compilation of just the latest attacks, and they end with, we believe in the First Amendment, but Alex Jones has to be shut down. And then you add Nichols saying, I got this call, and they intend to, whether Trump gets in or not, they intend to shut you down by name as the case point, and Nancy Pelosi is in total hysteria, and she's basically a gangster, demanding that you be shut down. And let me tell you, folks, that woman went into office worth $500,000, is worth 400-something mil, and her husband is a major kingpin. So anything happens to me, look at Pelosi. And the reason I say that is when these people have to get themselves puffed up and in a rage to pull triggers and sign checks and execute things that are absolutely evil, like Pelosi's doing right now, which is just wonderful, lady. I'm on the field, in the arena, to face you. Strike me down, I'll become 1,000 more times powerful than you can possibly imagine. And yes, that's a cheesy Star Wars analogy, but that's how history works. It's an allegory. It rings true because it is true. Nichols says that on the show. And Off Air was just like, man, you bet, I've never seen anything like this. Sessions is completely worried about you behind the scenes because they understand it'll domino the entire free press. They are dug in. I've got that from my other sources. I knew who they were going to choose for press secretary 3 days ago before anybody did. But, of course, I didn't say it. I knew it was going to be Rex Tillerson a week before his name was even out there. And I'm not bragging. I can be trusted. I have the sources. We have a CIA source, we'll just leave it at that, joining us live on air at 33 after. Now, this same source and two others told me last week that this is absolute pure bull, that none of the CIA is involved, that it's a rogue former group of leftists who have briefed the president with no proof. And then the head of all the agencies came out, and others came out and testified in Congress on Monday and said, from Clapper to you name it, there is no intelligence that Russia hacked or did anything physical. It's not true. But mainstream media and Keith Olbermann keep saying 17 agencies say it so. They've now had judges come out, former British ambassadors who met with the U.S. leakers that are U.S. intelligence officers. So I told you on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that special reports on Saturday with the headlines, it's a hoax. There is no CIA. It's a former CIA splinter group making up intelligence just like WMDs. So think about that. And now, as usual, what I told you is what really happened, and it's all coming out. Now, why do they hate me so much? They know I can talk to the president. Boy, if they only knew. They are freaking out. They know the intelligence agencies aren't full of criminals on average, and they're sick of the New World Order. They know the troops and the veterans are awake. They know the police, with the whole Soros kill the cops movement, finally converted back to the Republic. They might set off a nuke or something to bring in martial law in the next 35 days. There's only 35 days left. I mean, they'll do anything. America is in a counter coup against an illegal globalist takeover. The general public may not understand what I'm talking about when I talk about Operation Valkyrie or Reverse Valkyrie, or when I talk about COG, or I talk about the National Security Council, or I talk about Space Command, or I talk about any of these agencies. But the people in them do. So see, they know, I know what I'm talking about. Whether it's General Flynn or a lot of other generals, you think you'll just remove Flynn and your problems will be over? It's like shark teeth. More rows roll forward. Think you get rid of me? Transmission's already been sent. They kill me tomorrow. They shut me up. Everything I've talked about is evergreen. In Hollywood, they call the best films evergreen. They just get better with time. They just get more archetypal with time. They just get stronger with time, like fine wine. They kill me, folks. You have to understand, I'm committed to defeating them. I don't want to die. I love life. But I do not care, because my children have no future if we don't beat them. So if that's in God's plan, so be it. That's why they hate me. I have transcended them and their narcissistic, materialistic, worldly-based failure. They cannot beat the genuineness. They cannot beat the realness of it that telegraphs and cuts right through like a particle beam laser. They can't deal with it. They can't deal with will, with goodness, with honor. And I'm nothing compared to our forebears, but I am a throwback, and I'm bringing that light back into the world just like you are when you stand up and you say no. There are men and women who you're going to see in the decades to come in this epic fight against AI, the globalists, and the things that are coming that will dwarf anything I've done times 100. The dynamic human spirit is rising. Humanity is coming back up from the bottom. You can feel the tectonic liberty rising. And the enemy can feel it and see it and is howling in pain. I don't wish them any pain. I wish them to leave our space, because they will never coexist with us. The evil ones are psychic and cultural vampires. They will never give us quarter. They will never stop attacking us. It is their nature. It is who they are. It is their past history. They are at loggerheads with us of old. Choose which side you're on. Now is the time. I've chosen. My spirit has never been stronger. Committing to going the whole way, never wavering, never faltering, never stopping. You may physically waver, your body may waver, but your spirit must never waver. And it just gets better from that point. Now let's break down their attack plan before this special guest joins us, of how they're planning to shut down free speech in the next few months, and how they're preparing clearly false flag terror attacks to be blamed on the independent media. I'm Alex Jones. This is the INFOWAR. I didn't start a radio show. I didn't make films. I didn't do what we've done here to try to become part of the establishment. I'd rather die before I did that. I want to overturn this parasitic system. I want to see humanity turned loose and set free. I'm Alex Jones, your host. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for your support. Now more than ever, your prayers, spreading the word, buying the products to fund the operation. We have free shipping. You can order any of the products at InfoWarsStore.com and get them before Christmas if you order by Friday anywhere in the United States. That includes Alaska. That includes places like Hawaii. By Monday, it pretty much is only the lower 48. So really, you can order through Monday for the lower 48. But the point is, we're going to extend free shipping right through to next week. I'll talk about that more later, but we do need financial support. They're on every major channel in the country saying, how do we shut Alex Jones down? Do we sue him? Do we go after sponsors? Do we arrest him? They don't have any backing to do that. I've checked with the lawyers. I've looked at every level of it, talked to congressmen off record and on record. Where they're going is a false flag, a mass shooting where they have someone blamed who they claim is one of my listeners. It's like the guy that went and comic ping pong pizza, who, by the way, that is a diversion, a red herring in my view overall. There are some globalists that are into weird stuff like Podesta who should be investigated to go there, but they distracted off onto that. He goes there. The witnesses we've had on say he didn't fire shots. They didn't see that happen, but the media says it. He visits hundreds of websites, but the FBI under Hillary and under Obama puts out a report saying he visited InfoWars.com. Isn't that nice? Well, of course he does. I mean, the website gets tens of millions of visitors a week. You can't go in a room of 20, 30 people that some of them don't visit the site. That's like saying he watched Fox News or CNN. But it's the media calling for killing Trump, calling for violence, calling for riots. Newsweek, remember? The case for rioting. Cops get killed, and the president says, well, that's because the cops are being violent. Cops got to reform themselves. Oh, really? A cop does something wrong, maybe somewhere else, so you kill a cop 5 states over pumping gas or writing a ticket or sitting in their squad car. They're the ones pushing violence. They're the ones getting foreign Chinese money and Saudi Arabian money for the election publicly, and then they tell us that Russians are running us. If I'm getting any influence by Russians, I'm Santa Claus's son. I mean, this is just made up crap, and they know it. So I hear from Nichols. He goes, man, I talked to one of Sessions' people, and Sessions is really concerned, and I know he knows Sessions from going back a long time. And he said, Pelosi's coming after you. She is so mad at you. She's trying to get congressmen to have hearings, to have some federal suit to try to shut you up. And then I noticed on the news they're saying, we got to shut him up. What do we do? And then I noticed last night on Cavuto, I didn't learn about it until about 9 o'clock at night at the company Christmas party. People go, yeah, here's Cavuto, and it's her saying, Alex Jones got me death threatened. I mean, I pointed out, that's what congressmen are calling it. That's what others are calling it, is a CIA/Democrat attempt at a coup, a publicity stunt, a disinformation campaign to overturn the election. That's what that is when you overturn an election. It's called a coup. And boy, let me tell you, she looks like Frankenstein with a wig on. I don't try to be mean, but give me a break. And she's so arrogant during the 8-minute interview. This woman thinks she's better than you, and then she sits up there and implies she's in danger. This is the whole push I heard before she said it, that Pelosi plans to say, I'm yelling fire in a theater, and I've got to be dealt with. And these folks are gangsters. They're saying, a lot of these globalists are saying, kill Trump openly. Well, of course, you know they mean come after Alex Jones as well. If something happens to me, just know this. It's because we were effective, and we know who the enemy is, don't we? But let's go out to break with her. Her trump card is Alex Jones wants me dead. Here it is.
Cavuto, you owe it to the American people to let me tell the truth and to not lie about what I just said. Yeah, Alex Jones said the same thing about me yesterday. Alex Jones on INFOWAR has said that I want to have a coup and assassinate Donald Trump. Since then, I've gotten death threats, so it's not helpful for me if you're going to lie about what I am saying.
Christine, Donald Trump doesn't come on my show.
That is not helpful for me. It's not safe for me or for my family or for other electors. Please don't do that.
He doesn't come on this show. I have no agenda here. I'm just saying it seems that you do.
Well, no, then don't put words in my mouth, Neil, that you know are going to antagonize people and make me unsafe.
Christine, come on. You want the electors to get this information?
Neil, you need to make sure that you understand what your role is here.
Do you want them to switch their votes, yes or no?
What I want to do is get the information. What I want to do is not have you mischaracterize what I say so that I get even more death threats and more insults and more online attacks than I'm already getting. All right,
so fade her down. We'll come back with the rest of the clip. What she's saying is your free speech gets her death threats. We all get death threats, lady. So clearly they want to play the victim. They want to launch all these wars and turn jihadis loose and all the rest of it. All right, so Nancy Pelosi's daughter, who's organized 50-plus of the electors to go against Trump, isn't telling the public when she gets pressed, she's forced to, that only one of them's a Republican, the other's part of some sub-Democratic party group out of New York where they can have multiple parties within the party. She was a Hillary voter. So 50 of the 51 are Democrats, and they won't be voting for Trump to begin with. So it's another deception, another hoax to try to manipulate and then force a, quote, CIA briefing of all of the hundreds and hundreds of electors to intimidate them and give them disinformation. But now we have the head of all the major intelligence agencies coming out on Tuesday and saying it's fake, it's not real, no evidence, no intent. Now you have Clapper going before Congress 2 days ago and saying, no, there's no evidence. I have a stack of mainstream news here now with other intelligence agencies saying there's no proof. Now, last week, I called separate sources I know, some of which have worked for the CIA, others contractors, others for other intelligence agencies, including the NSA. So actually, I talked to 4 people. But I talked to 2 with CIA connections, or have been with the CIA, or been contractors for the CIA. I'll just stop right there. And they said, we've talked to people in the agency currently, pretty high up. This is total bull. And now Congress, the CIA is saying, will not give them a briefing, and the other agencies won't, because they're saying it isn't true. And Congressman King has come out and said this is a disinformation campaign by Obama and a splinter group, they're using the term I've used, from within the CIA, former people leftist. Well, look at Bob Baer, the big leftist CIA guy, on CNN last Friday saying Trump needs to basically have a new election and step down, and we need to, suspend this election. Then you say, oh, they're calling for suspending the election. They go, shut up, conspiracy theory. Stop death threatening us. So this is very, very important. And here's Nancy Pelosi's daughter. Here's the headline. It's all over the newspapers. The poor victim. I've gotten death threats. Pelosi's daughter rips Fox News for lying about electoral college and electoral challenge. And she says Alex Jones is causing the death threats for simply pointing out she's trying to overthrow the election. That's what she's doing with a think tank and a PR firm run by the Clintons. But she thinks you're stupid. So I had Larry Nichols on yesterday, and we've got that clip queued up, right? I was asking for it this morning. He's coming back on. the clips on YouTube, saying, I don't know what you did to Pelosi, but she's trying to get you arrested or shut down right now. And then I noticed last night on the news, on other channels, it's like, we've got to shut him down. There's free speech, but Alex Jones doesn't get it. MSNBC, I've got the clips coming up. So suddenly, I'm being told this via Sessions from one of our sources, Nichols. Then at night, it's Pelosi's daughter out saying she's in danger because of me, and other channels are saying, I've got to be shut up. So, folks, they want to use us as a test case. Then everybody else will fall. They want Trump kicked off Twitter, the Washington Post says, and Twitter says they're considering it. The president, quote, he's a bully. He's going to get people killed because when the union says you didn't get all the jobs back at Carrier, only 85%, he says, well, you lost them. I'm doing the best I can. They said that's going to cause violence. See, our speech, no matter how mild, must be shut down. We must have prior restraint. That's how they have hate laws in Europe, to restrict nationalistic conservative speech. You criticize an Islamicist that rapes a woman, you post the guy's picture out of the newspaper on Facebook, you get banned. You get a police visit. These people are authoritarians. So here is the clip. There's a bunch of these clips, but it was a 9-minute interview of her attacking Cavuto. Here it is.
California elector Christine Pelosi leading this charge joins us right now out of San Francisco. Christine, these 50 some odd electors, 51, I guess, how do they break down?
Well, all of us are patriots preparing to do our constitutional duty as members of the Electoral College. And when we read the Washington Post report last Friday night that indicated the CIA claims conclusive evidence that Russia hacked our elections, we thought it was time for us to step up and demand an investigation. We want the information declassified as much as possible so that everybody
I know
can
why
receive
you
a briefing.
want this.
And we
51,
want to, and
how
we want
many
to take a
are
look.
Democrat and how many are Republican?
We have 50. We have 50 Democrats, 1 Republican, and 1 member of the Working Families Party from New York.
Okay, now
on
do
the
you want
record,
them
and
to
many
switch their
more
votes?
Republicans and Democrats off the record.
Do you want the Republicans to switch their votes, or what is this about?
I want everybody to look at the information, Neil. I can't prejudge something I haven't seen, but I absolutely want everybody to have a chance to look at the information, and if it's declassified so the public can take a look at it too without endangering our sources and methods in the intelligence community, I think that's the role of.
All right, let's stop right there. That's where she doesn't want to say that 50 of the 51 people are Democrats, but then she's forced to say it. Here's the clip where she later, when Cavuto saying you're trying to overturn the election, which they admit they're doing in their fundraisers, she says that's ridiculous. That's the same thing that Alex Jones said that got me death threats. So see, I'm not death threatening her. She's not showing proof of death threats. She's probably getting them. But then, I mean, I get them every day. But then it's still my fault, see? And this is hours after I heard her mommy's after me. So this is how they're operating. Here's the clip.
Cavuto, you owe it to the American people to let me tell the truth and to not lie about what I just said. Yeah, Alex Jones said the same thing about me yesterday. Alex Jones and INFOWARS has said that I want to have a coup and assassinate Donald Trump. Since then, I've gotten death threats, so it's not helpful for me if you're going to lie about what I am saying.
Christine, Donald Trump doesn't come on my show. That is not helpful for me. It's not safe for me or for my family or for other electors. Please don't do that. He doesn't come on this show. I have no agenda here. I'm just saying it seems that you do.
Well, no, then don't put words in my mouth, Neil, that you know are going to antagonize people and make me unsafe.
Christine, come on. You want the electors to get this information?
Neil, you need to make sure that you understand what your role is here.
Do you want them to switch their votes, yes or no?
What I want to do is get the information. What I want to do is not have you mischaracterize what I say so that I get even more death threats and more insults and more online attacks than I'm already getting. Part of the reason that Republicans won't sign on to my letter is some of them have said to me point blank, I don't want to get that kind of blowback. I want a hearing. I want a briefing. I want a
that's enough. Yeah, well, they've asked for the briefings. They've been told by the intelligence agencies it isn't true. So understand, Clapper, the head of intelligence, all of them have come out and said it's not true. There is no proof. It's made up. Meanwhile, I have a stack of news here where the communist Chinese and the Saudi Arabians and basically everybody else under the sun was bragging that they were financing Hillary's campaign. And then the illegals coming in. How is that not outside influence in voting? and Democrats wanting non-citizens to be able to vote all over the news, and Chinese billionaires buying Hillary, and just Saudi Arabia's prince and king brags that they funded 20% of her campaign. And the Saudis own a big chunk of Fox. Wonder why it's so anti-Trump now. Wonder why Megyn Kelly is such a vicious person. Now, to be clear, I said last Friday, last Saturday, last Sunday, and the headlines are there on YouTube, and we named the show that it's a hoax, that the CIA said this. That's why they don't ever give you proof. That's why they say it's secret. And now even the CIA won't come out and say it's actually their report. This is so bold. It's a disinformation campaign. Now, one of my sources, the first source I talked to, also made some phone calls of his own. And let's just say that, let's not even say what he's done with the CIA or what his CIA connections are, but they're high level, and they're not in the pinhead division. This is in the real CIA that does the hanging. And so he can break down and tell you from the highest levels, not just the CIA, what the intel is. And what he told me last Thursday, personally, face-to-face, has now unfolded and has been proven. And it's only here and there in the MSM, though. This is so bombshell that they put out this hoax. And what it tells me is, with 35 days left, they're going to go for broke. They are desperate. So we're just going to call you Anonymous, Patriot. Anonymous, repeat what you told me, then the phone calls you made that confirmed the intel you had.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Alex. I appreciate the opportunity to come on and give my side of this. Last week, while we were face-to-face, we had talked about the news releases, and I explained to you that I didn't feel at all that it was anywhere near truthful. Reached out, talked to some contacts that still do a certain job, and they verified the same thing. Basically, it is standard procedure. When caught doing something wrong, you deny, and then you make counter accusation. And that's basically where they are now. They're in the misinformation stage. They're doing everything possible to spread anything they can, truthful or not, in an attempt to divert the attention from what they're doing.
Elaborate on as much as you can, because obviously we don't want to get into particularly where these folks are at, but it's CIA and beyond. What you can relay to the listeners and viewers that's not classified.
All right. Yeah, definitely it reaches beyond just CIA. It reaches out into the International Intelligence Committee or community, and it just basically confirms that they're going to do whatever they can and grasp at any straw they can in order to disrupt Trump's inauguration, to disrupt his taking over as the President of the United States. They're going to do that through misinformation, accusations, and then the easy trump card to pull is, well, he threatened me, so we need to remove his right to free speech. They are consistently do the same thing, and that is free speech is free for everyone until you say something that we don't like. And because you and your listeners say what they don't want to hear, regardless of the fact that it's the truth, they now want to shut you down.
And that's coming from your sources?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sometimes desperate moves work, but really I don't think this desperate move is going to be very successful. But I know that Senator Sessions is concerned about this. But I mean, not just me, but it's just, I mean, the whole thing, the desperateness of Hillary and Pelosi particularly. Reid's given up and is scurrying off. Obama's kind of fading off, but it looks like he's going to let them hang out there, and if they're successful somehow, he might back them. But this is an incredibly dangerous situation.
It is incredibly dangerous. It is a strike to free speech, and I think it is just a catalyst to see how far they can push it. They test it out with you. They see how it works. What they don't understand is that even if they were able to get a gag order or anything on you personally, they can't name everyone. And there are people out there that will continue to push the message, continue to speak the truth, and continue on with the mission regardless of whether you are the voice of it or not.
What about the desperation? I mean, you talked about your contacts basically likening it to a drowning person. These are drowning people that have nuclear weapons. I mean, there's got to be some point at which the open treason gets blocked. I mean, I know Trump's more and more getting on the offensive. I know for a fact he's very concerned, and I'm just going to leave it at that. But somebody's got to stop these people. I mean, they openly get Chinese money, Saudi Arabian money, EU money. Then they claim the Russians are involved. Then they get caught lying about all that. I mean, it is just a rogue group of retired CIA people that gave a report to Obama and Hillary. I mean, what does Hillary think? They're going to have a new election? That's going to cause a civil war.
I agree with you. I think that if they were able to sit back now and say, we're going to nullify this election and have a brand new one, here we are 30, 35 days out, it just leads directly into what they want. It leads into civil war. It leads into civil unrest. It leads into the possibility of martial law, the ability to postpone the presidential elections indefinitely. And I think that's exactly what they're doing. They're going to continue to grasp at straws until they either run out of time or until they succeed at what they're trying to do. There is a massive amount of work being done behind the scenes in the intelligence community, and I don't see them being successful in what it is that they want to do, being Pelosi and Hillary and them. They're going to try their best, but as we've proven time and time again, their best just isn't good enough.
Well, we know WikiLeaks held back on the really damaging stuff because it would really hurt the country and the world. It's so horrible. That's the word I've gotten, that if they keep pushing, doesn't matter how many internet kill switches they've got or wars they try to start, stuff's about to come out so bad that it's going to be completely over for them.
I believe so.
All right, well, I've been asking the questions here, my friend. Anything else you want to add that you've observed or people have told you that are pretty high up?
No, sir. Just again, pass the word to the listeners that, the silent majority is no longer silent. And regardless if it's you passing the word or someone else, the word will be passed. The truth will be spread. And the American patriots are going to do what they need to do in order to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
What about your info? Was that, because I didn't quiz you on that, is that your opinion or educated view that Obama is kind of hedging his bets and wants to fade off in the sunset, and that it is Hillary and Pelosi and Soros that are still crazy? Or was that from your sources?
It's more of my personal opinion, kind of professional idea. I think that he's done what he wanted to do. He wasn't successful in any of the things he tried. We're divided as a nation more now so than maybe ever in our history. And he just wasn't successful in whatever his counterculture mission was. So now he'll take a step back. He'll go off and enjoy the fruits of his labor and the payments that come from him from other countries and other outside entities. And Hillary and Pelosi will pick up the torch and take off running.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And again, that source and others told me what was going on, and I could see it as well, but that's confirmed. Okay, this is totally fake. It's not even from the CIA. It's just a cooked up couple guys, Democratic operatives, that just put a report out. A photoshopped, here's our report that the Russians are influencing. This is ridiculous. We're going to go to break and come back with more news, but wait till the bottom of the next hour. We have another guest joining us. Wait till the bottom of the next hour when I play the special report with the news over and over again saying, shut me up, shut me down, because I don't really pay attention to it. I knew it was bad, but it's really bad. And again, I'm just asking for your prayers and support. But understand, I feel great. I'm really having a big effect in my life. This is what I prayed for. It's what I've asked for. I want to beat these people, and I'm just so thankful to God. I mean that. I'm not putting a good face on this, folks. This is good. This is really good news. We are really hurting these bad people and exposing them to the point where they want to kill me or shut me up. And we're forcing them out in the open, and so all I want to do is thank Jesus. Thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for making the enemy move against us to expose them and draw their fire. So James Clapper, Director of National Intelligence, is the head guy over all the agencies. He says there's no proof of Russian hacking. We have Loretta Lynch, the head of the Justice Department. They're really distancing themselves from this made-up report that phone calls were made here. I mean, folks, people say, oh, yeah, you can call the CIA. Or I can call, I mean, I talked to the president. I'm going to just stop right there. And if the media knew the inside baseball, they'd really be freaking out. So I'm not even going to go there. Believe me, folks, like you heard earlier, this is now the mouth of the resistance. I'm nothing. This is a conduit because I'm crazy enough to tell the truth. I'd really be crazy to not tell the truth. I'm not going along with these crazy people, these globalists. They're bad news. They're evil. Look how they turn radical jihadis loose on the whole planet. They're scum. They're degenerate. Before I go any further and play these clips, though, we need your prayers. We need you to spread the word about the books, the videos, the materials, just to everybody. We need you to buy the products. We got free shipping running through the weekend. If you order on Friday or by Friday anywhere in the United States, including Alaska or Hawaii, you'll get your shipments. By Monday, it's everywhere in the lower 48. And we've got 50% off colloidal silver. DNA Force is basically sold out. We've got 30% off on a lot of the other products. Living Defense, Super Male Vitality, 30% off. Silver Bullet, 50% off. Brain Force with 20% more in each bottle, 33% off. Winter Sun, 25% off. Survival Shield X2, 30% off. BioTrue Selenium, 30% off. And a bunch of other discounts. We've got the new Super Blue fluoride-free toothpaste with colloidal silver, nano silver, and, of course, True Atomic Iodine. It's all there. Super Blue, now available. We've already sold out of more than half of it. Thought it'd last us months. Another big hit my dad developed with scientists. My dad came out with the DNA Force. So InfoWarsLive.com, InfoWarsStore.com, or call toll-free 888-253-3139. But most importantly, we just need your prayers and for you to spread the word and realize this fight is far from over. We're in the fight for the life of this country. And it's a great way to give the gift of health, to give friends and family some of the nutraceuticals, or to give folks a Hillary for Prison 2017 shirt with George Soros on the back as a goblin saying deport George Soros, with Infowars.com on the right-hand shoulder, and a lot of other amazing items at InfoWarsStore.com. Okay, so all 17 agencies say we're at war with Russia. Keith Olbermann said so. Every other channel of mainstream media said so. Total proof, hacking. Everybody's a Russian agent but the Democrats. The Russians hate your homework. Here is Clapper, the head of all intelligence, saying it's not true.
As far as the WikiLeaks connection, the evidence there is not as strong, and we don't have good insight into the sequencing of the releases or when the data may have been provided. We don't have as good insight into that.
Now, that's always been known. Now, here's Loretta Lynch in the hip pocket of the Clintons, but still she won't say that it's true. Here it is.
So let's pivot a little bit to things, some things in the news right now. We've been bombarded the last couple days with questions about the integrity of our election system. Everybody is seeing these headlines. What could you say the government is doing to ensure that our election system is fair and is on the level?
Well, this is an ongoing process. I mean, we've been talking about this now for some time, since the summer when we began the investigation into the hacks of the DNC and the DCCC, and trying to ascertain who was behind that. You know, there's a number of things that we do, a lot of which we talk about publicly, a lot of which we don't talk about publicly in terms of just investigation and the responses that we have. This was of grave concern to us. So we began in the summer to look at what we could say.
All right, publicly. I thought this clip was shorter than it is. We're going to come back, play the rest of it, but she says that no, there's no evidence. We'll be back. Stay with us. I'm Alex Jones, second hour. They don't want you to hear this. Have you figured that out yet? They do not want you to hear this. The enemies that have hijacked this country, they're a pack of criminals. So the director of all intelligence, they set him up for 9/11, the head agency over all of them, technically the biggest. It's like Homeland Security is the biggest because it's all the agencies. Comes out and says it's not true. There's no evidence that WikiLeaks was Russia. And that's because U.S. intelligence is ready to release the info, and the people involved are ready to go public at a press conference. And I told you this back during the last few days of the campaign. It's why they're so upset. And the reason Hillary and Pelosi hate me is they know what we're talking about is real. And they know that InfoWars is the main conduit that will put this information out. And they're really upset. As if you kill me or shut me up, you're going to get the other people to shut up. You're really stupid. All they're going to do is release stuff that is 10 times worse than men's release. And if you want that, go ahead and try it. But it's going to come out, even if you shut the internet off, which would kill the economy, it's going to come out in the rest of the world. You just don't get it, do you, dumbasses? You're a bunch of hunchback New World Order pieces of filth. But here's Lynch on C-SPAN admitting that they don't have intelligence that it was the Russians. Here it is.
Unfortunately, we didn't see the sort of technical interference that I know people had concerns about also in terms of voting machines and the like. But a lot of education went on about that, a lot of training went on about that, and a significant number of states did reach out to DHS and talk with them about those issues. And so we thought that was an important step as well, to make sure that every state knew they could work with us. And as you know, the president...
That's part of the larger clip we played the rest earlier. She's saying they didn't see the technical stuff like they're saying. They're just saying Russian propaganda affected it. RT wouldn't even get involved in the election. They were so scared of getting kicked out of the U.S. They're big globally, but not big in the U.S., folks. I've looked at the ratings. It's almost negligible. It's worse than CNN. But the point is that they're trying to sell this idea when it's the opposite. They were the ones being funded by outsiders. And now they have Pelosi's daughter saying she fears for her life because of me, and other channels last night, CNN saying I need to be shut down because I'm causing violence with no evidence when they're pushing for violence against Trump. Here's Larry Nichols yesterday in this, what was it, second or third hour, talking about this hours before it was said on Cavuto. Here it is.
Alex, did you get my warning this morning? That person from the Attorney General to be office gave me another little warning. Alex, if they pull this off, you're number one on the list. You're going to be gone, buddy. INFOWARS will be toast. You have been successful at getting first in-line attention from Hillary. Now, remember, when they say fake news, when Hillary comes out saying this fake news is running the risk, by the way, they're going to come at you with inciting riots, inciting anarchy. That's what they're going to come at you. They're going to come at you, Allie. They're going to come at all of us, I guess.
Sure, they're going to blame the unrest trying to steal it from Trump on us.
That's right. That's right. Now, what the Clintons do since the day I was with them, and I helped design this system, so I know it so well. What you always do is you accuse your enemy of exactly what you're doing.
Sure, so just like she got money from the Chinese and the Saudi Arabians publicly, they bragged about it. Then she just turns it around. She got money from the Russians. Then she turns it around and blames it on Trump. And by the way, I wanted to put a video out yesterday, the whole thing. He goes on and gets into, you must have made Pelosi really mad. This is what they're going to do in Congress. They're going to come after you. I guess I didn't explain to folks what I wanted put out from the live show, but I want those parts excised if we can, Rob or somebody, and put together where he goes into what they're going to do in Congress, how they're going to sue me, what they're going to do, what he was told by the source. That's not even the meat. So I noticed they only put 2 minutes up on YouTube. I guess the full interview's up there separately by itself, but I wanted that excised. See, they misunderstood the notes. What's been happening is I want a stinger up front because it makes it get triple views. Where the meat said, and I tell them the exact time I want, and then it goes with INFOWARS, then the interview part I want plays. Instead, they'll just take the stinger and put it out by itself with nothing else. So I'm just going to have to work on that harder. Just inside baseball. Don't have a lot of time to work with the crew. I'll just do it live here on air. We'll be back. Stay with us. At the bottom of the hour, I am going to play a detailed report. Basically, the crucifixion of Alex Jones and the free press is what I'm calling it. The video needs to go viral. It's up on INFOWARS.com. It's on our Facebook or Twitter, you name it, where they call clip after clip for shutting down the free press in America and silencing yours truly. Now, a lot of this happened yesterday after Larry Nichols had already been on saying he talked to Sessions, one of Sessions' top people. That's the new Attorney General if he gets in 35 days. And that Pelosi's honchoing things. She's running things now that Hillary's out and Reid's out, but Hillary's behind her with Soros, saying they're going to try to shut INFOWARS down. And then the rest of the free press, Breitbart, you name it. They intend to overthrow the election. Democrats are calling this a coup. They're calling for the death. Hollywood producers are saying they're raising money to kill Trump. They're not getting in trouble. The Secret Service doesn't even visit them. It's been everything from Newsweek to the New York Times calling for killing him and, quote, the case for rioting. That's a headline out of Newsweek. Look at this headline. More elector threats. Put bullet in your mouth. This is Republicans getting calls. New York Post. Long shot bid to block Monday. They're pushing to not let them have the electoral vote. Angry celebs call for a coup against Trump. Oh, but it doesn't exist. This is drudgereport.com. It doesn't exist, even though the celebrities are calling for it, and the New York Post has the videos. Celebrities beg electors to be heroes and vote against Trump, causing a coup. But the coup doesn't exist, and Nancy Pelosi's daughter says, my exposure of this is causing her to get death threats, so I'm violent. This is the new saying. I'm causing violence. I have to be shut up. I have to be stopped. Look at the other headlines. Venezuelan parents give away children amid deep crisis. Same thing happening in Greece. America's great again. Dollar climbs the strongest since 2003. Self-driving Uber car caught running red light. Another nearly crash into Lyft ride. It doesn't matter, though. They've got robot taxis now in San Francisco. Artificial intelligence creeps into daily life. Trudeau to lead the new globalist push for world government. UK denies Brexit could take 10 years. Robot bartender slash waiting time. Measures of economic optimism shooting up all over. Home builder sentiment spikes 7 points. Trump has them feeling fantastic. Meanwhile, sub-zero chills all over the northern hemisphere. Record cold. How about that global warming? Oh, now it's climate change. DrudgeReport.com. Amazing. And maybe if they shut me up or kill me, you know, Drudge occasionally can get videos where I predicted things and I can still be there. Of course, they'll probably then say that's banned material. They have algorithms now where they can ban your voice with the old Shazam program they've had for 5 years. All over the internet in a matter of hours, release a program that just expunges me forever. But you can remember my spoken words and repeat it. But you'll see it all for yourself. They'll have to silence all of you, won't they? But here is Nancy Pelosi's daughter. As they call for coups, as they call for violence, the Democrats in newspapers saying, we did it. As they say he's a foreign agent of the Russians and I'm a foreign agent. They actually say Tucker Carlson and I in newspapers, major newspapers, are Russian agents. I can hardly speak Russian, like 5 words, never been to Russia, but I'm a Russian agent because I don't want foreign Manx ruling me, and I don't want the government saying my kids belong to the state, and I don't want forced inoculations or GMO. I'm evil. Dr. Group joins us with big breaking news and a national initiative in just a moment, but here is again Pelosi.
Vudo, you owe it to the American people to let me tell the truth and to not lie about what I just said. Yeah, Alex Jones said the same thing about me yesterday. Alex Jones and INFOWAR has said that I want to have a coup and assassinate Donald Trump. Since then, I've gotten death threats, so it's not helpful for me if you're going to lie about what I am saying.
That's enough. By the way, I'm going to shoot a video today where they're calling to shut me up in the press and show her, but show Nichols before that even aired, saying that they're going to come out and say I'm threatening violence against him. That came from Senator Sessions. You notice 5 hours later on Cavuto, exactly that is said. And we're going to clip to the Democratic celebrities calling for a coup. And her saying, I'm saying she's involved in a coup. Yes, a bloodless political coup trying to overthrow the electors and take the election. That's called a coup, lady, in the dictionary, okay? But because I don't just let you be the authority just because you're arrogant and narcissist or whatever you are, and you're so full of yourself, I don't lay down to you, so therefore I'm violent. My existence makes you mad. You're mad at people because you look like Frankenstein. And you act like Frankenstein. And your organization of Democratic electors who've got one Republican doesn't have a chance at this, but you're running a hoax that you've got enough to overturn it now. Well, that hoax is over, sweetheart, and I know mommy's in Congress behind the scenes saying, he's being mean to my daughter. I didn't know you started sucking your thumb a few days ago when I talked about you. You're all over the news trying to overturn the election. And so you want to make it me that's bad and threatening you when I'm not? You went to your mommy, who now wants to silence me? Oh, I'm so scared you went to your mommy. You went to your mommy. How scary. Do whatever you're going to do with your congressional mafia, lady. You think I'm scared of you? It's a two-way street. Ever figure that out? Wonder how your mommy will do if anything happens to me. You think I got a daddy? I don't have a mommy. I got a daddy. I got a lot of daddies. You got your little mommies? Got Hillary and your mommy? Oh, I'm so scared of your mommies. In a man's world, in a man's game, running around pissing on everybody. Men don't do that because they know what happens if they do. You're arrogant, and you're pushing your traitorous mouth where you shouldn't be pushing it. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. And one of these days, my boots are going to walk all over you, politically witch. Now, Dr. Group, one of our incredible formulators, scientist, Army veteran, joins us to talk about some big initiatives. He's in Yahoo News today. He's in a bunch of other places. Congratulations on getting your story out there. To make America great again, we need to make America healthy again. So he's popping in to break down some amazing things. It's not an infomercial, but I tell you, he formulated things with my dad like DNA Force. He formulated things like X2 that's unprecedented. He formulated so many amazing things for us, super male vitality, lung cleanse, natural defense, all this stuff. And it's all 50 to 30% off at InfoWarsStore.com right now with free shipping right through the weekend. But we guarantee shipping anywhere in the United States, including Hawaii and Alaska. If you order by Friday, it'll get out by Saturday anywhere. Probably get to you even if you order on Monday anywhere. But to be totally sure, by Monday, it's only the lower 48. By Tuesday, it's only like 30 of the states or so. We've got maps of it over there in the shipping department. You can always order from FedEx or UPS, too, if you like that. You can also buy the products. There's a note at checkout. In comments, you can actually say to your friends or family, hey, I sent you this book or this water filter or this X2 or this Oxy powder. These are all game-changing products, and they fund the tip of the spear. Who can doubt? Look, I always try to act like a humble person. I am a humble person. But we are the spearhead. And it was Drudge helped blow holes in the narrative and open it up and helped us get the ball down the field. And Drudge doesn't want the credit either. He probably doesn't even want it. But Drudge has been the absolute MVP in all this. I would love it to be somebody else more prominent, more hated than I am by the globalists at this point. But I'm the visual guy in their face. I think if Drudge was on air every day, he's more articulate than I think he'd be the #1 enemy if he was on air like I am. He's probably smarter. He's withdrawn to his high tower. The man in the high castle. But I mean, this is history happening. So make no mistake, if we succeed, we'll be known as the Paul Reveres of the 21st century. If we fail, God help us. Dr. Grip, you've got a lot to cover on the health front because even if the globalists are ruling over us and corrupt, we can take care of ourselves. And I've been religiously now for 2 weeks taking the supplements. I always kind of forget, get off them. I've been religiously taking them. Already more energy, already lost weight. Everybody can notice it. Incredible job you've done with InfoWarsLife.com. But that's not why you're here today. Tell us about the breaking news.
Well, thanks. I mean, when I started studying medicine, I was looking at addressing the symptoms of disease as well. But the reason why I wanted to come out with a press release is because I wanted to put together a simple program that people can understand. And hopefully the Trump team will look at this and say, let's address the root cause of America's healthcare problem. I did the same thing when Obama was in office. Of course, no one ever followed through or listened to me, but I wanted to put a press release out there because, Alex, first of all, when you look at what's going on in this country, I mean, you look at these Democrats and Pelosi and all these people. I mean, look how mean she looks. Look how aggressive she looks. It's almost like robots that are just falling apart. But you have to remember, I say that in order to get the America great again, we have to get America healthy again. And the reason I say that is not, leaning towards people need to be on pharmaceuticals is only because doing the research that you and I have done and looking back at the root cause, it's all about control. I mean, dating back from the fluoride in the water to the GMO foods to everything, these have distinct effects. They can actually pinpoint people now with all the data analytics and say this person is a radical, this person's on the right, this person's on the left, this person's a religious person. They've even identified genes, and why do you think that they're coming out with all these flu shots? The flu shots are actually can target these specific
They're
genes
genetically
to shut down and control human behavior.
They admit that, by the way. I mean, for 20 years, the entire science of vaccines has been about population control, behavior control.
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is, if we really want to change America, we got to get rid of some of these systems, because these are the mechanisms that are controlling America, keeping you sick, keeping you depressed, keeping you down and in not wanting to succeed, keep losing your self-confidence, making you obese, causing heart disease, causing cancer, and causing all these other things. I mean, insurance premiums have skyrocketed, deductibles have gone through the roof, patient satisfaction is at an all-time low, insurance carriers aren't covering complementary and alternative medicine. Americans are spending like $1.5 trillion.
We're going to break. Stay right there, Dr. Grip. We're going to come back and go over all this. Great press release. We're going to post it in full on INFOWARS.com right now. Stay with us. And then the big report I'm going to premiere with the media calling for the end of free speech. All right, coming up, Dr. Grip will be with me about 5 minutes in the next segment. Then I'm going to premiere this detailed report of not just the attack on INFOWARS, but the attack on free press. I mean, you're going to hear him at the end of it just over and over again say, shut Alex Jones down. It's now time to do it. And we've confirmed it's Nancy Pelosi leading the charge. I've also confirmed that through Trump sources after Nichols told me yesterday. And then I didn't even know at dinner, it had already been on Fox that they're saying basically, shut me down. I want violence against Pelosi. This is crazy, folks. We are hurting them that bad. But regardless, Harvard's come out with 25 studies a couple years ago, remember? Saying, okay, fluoride lowers IQ on average every few years in a child 10 points. I mean, this is incredible. Not having iodine lowers your IQ 15 points. That's mainstream news. They call us conspiracy theorists or laugh at us. We're the real people. We have the scientists on. We have the generals on. We have the experts on. Most of the people in government at the FDA and EPA have gone public. They've signed letters 3 times, all their scientists together, saying take fluoride out of the water. But they just make fun of us and say we're crazy. But that's in the news. So, Dr. Grip, continuing with your press release that I just told him to post to InfoWars.com, to make America great again, we need to make America healthy again, and we need to make it free again as well. Let's continue getting into the press release.
Yeah, so you talk about the attack on free press, and we've been talking about the attack on natural medicine for years and years and years, because that's another thing that threatens their control is having natural remedies for different things. I mean, our healthcare system, and you don't see this out there a lot in the mainstream media. Of course, you don't see anything true in the mainstream media. We know that. But our healthcare our country in healthcare ranks number 50 out of 55 countries. We're almost dead last. I mean, that is embarrassing. Nearly 70% of all Americans are on at least one prescription drug. Most are on more than that, actually. 2014, there were close to 50,000 deaths from prescription drugs. How come that is not everywhere in the news? So, I mean, my plan is not, something extravagant. All I'm asking for is just 3 things. And the number one thing is, in order to reform healthcare, we have to address the root cause of the health problems. Everybody tries to put Band-Aids over things and tries to address the symptoms.
It's just like breast cancer's up several thousand percentage points. We never ask, why is it exploding? We look for a cure instead of the cause.
Yeah, I mean, we absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, have proof that the root cause of all health conditions, mental wellness conditions, all of that stuff is caused and directly linked to man-made chemicals, artificial colors, foods, beverages, all of the toxic ingredients that were
lack of nutrients. Let me add this. New studies out. You said this years ago, but scientific ones, we can pull them up. I know I'm just throwing this out there, but the crew's really quick. Watching a lot of TV is linked to women getting breast cancer. It's also linked to brain tumors, and new studies are linking it to depression. Obviously, that's well known. But the fact is, television and not having a good social life and not going outside is literally causing cancer.
Yes, and that's part of the number one step in the healthcare reform is that address the root cause of health problems.
Sure, but why is TV so bad? Because they're finding it's not just the sedentary. It's women that, quote, don't have a lot of friends, women that tend to be liberal, women that watch a lot of television are just dying. I guess the body decides you're not doing anything for the species, just die, or what's happening?
Yeah, that's why we need independent, which is actually number 3 on my plan, which is independent advisory boards, which are not linked to the pharmaceutical industry, the chemical industry, or the food industry to evaluate the safety and efficacy of all these endocrine disrupting chemicals. And I mean, we know what they're going to say when the panel comes back and says these are directly linked to all these diseases and obesity and everything else that's going on. Fluoride, pesticides, herbicides, phthalates, refined sugars, preservatives, all of the things that we spent 20 years identifying, and we have all the research to back it up. You know, we can't just come out and say, okay, ban chemicals, ban glyphosate, ban this. You know, what I'm asking for is get an independent team of scientists together. I'll happily.
But they know that glyphosates, when they developed them, grow tumors in animals, and they know they admit it now. I mean, they admit it. By the way, for TV viewers, obviously you're seeing all these articles. Radio listeners, we're putting mainstream news about lonely women getting breast cancer, women that watch TV, breast cancer, brain cancer. And, of course, that's just studies on women. This and it's mainline TV's worse than others. They're sending carrier signals in that basically tell you to die.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run.
They're saying die.
Alex
die.
Jones and the
transmission
GCN
is
Radio
this.
Network.
Die. That's what they want you. Live. Yeah, I love how Keith Olbermann has his establishment, Rockefeller / George Soros funded GQ magazine. Can't get more foppish than that. More wannabe, man garbage. Called the resistance. You're not the resistance. I guess the resistance to the people. Resistance to true liberalism, true freedom. What a despicable piece of filth. We're now at war with Russia. Anyone that is not for Hillary is an enemy of America. It's time to get hard and shut down the free press. I'm a liberal named Keith Olbermann. In fact, this new boil down doesn't even have him saying that about me. This boil down we're going to play in a few minutes it isn't even 1/10 of what's going on. But it's horrible. Dr. Group continuing. Why do the elites, I mean, I guess in the WikiLeaks, I guess you saw some of those WikiLeaks where they're like, we want to keep them in the dark and pathetic and sad and poor and desperate. Now, we've got them diverted, but they're not complying with us. We need culture war to contain them. We covered this ad nauseum. But what a nasty group of elites. These are horrible people. Along comes Trump that at least wants prosperity, and they are so scared of him.
If you're sick, if you're overweight, if you're becoming sterile, which is happening all over the world, if you're mentally unstable, you're going to look in the mirror and you're not going to have any self-confidence. And you're going to be very easily controllable. And it's a money game as well, Alex. The pharmaceutical industry, I mean, they're going to control you. They're going to make money off of you. And that actually leads into one of my other points on my 3-step plan, is that we have to have medical freedom. We have to establish freedom of health care. People need to be able to choose what kind of medicine they want. As a matter of fact, 1/3 of all Americans last year spent over $30 billion on complementary and alternative medicine. People want it. They're out there begging for it. And guess what? Insurance companies aren't covering it. They're paying out of pocket. We've got to get back into a wellness state. We got to get into a preventative state. We've got to have insurance need to be required to cover people's choice. If somebody wants to go in for natural care, or they want to do complementary, or they want to do whatever they want to do, that has to be covered by insurance. Ultimately, that's the only thing that's going to get people better anyway. And that's what the big fight is about. So my third point is to establish medical freedom and give people the opportunity to choose what type of health care that they want and that they're going to be able to learn from and grow from, and because it's all about preventative and it's all about wellness. You mentioned earlier about the women sitting on the couch with cancer. You know, there was a report that came out, I think yesterday, that doctors, they're finding, and this is a guy that was just charged by the federal government, as a matter of fact, and I've been saying this for a long time. If you get diagnosed with cancer, there's a lot of money in cancer. And you know, I went through an attack when we had our cancer clinic and was followed around and had death threats and everything else. Cancer is a multi-trillion-dollar industry, and I've been saying for a long time, do not believe your doctor. Go get a second and go get a third opinion, because doctors are subsidized if they diagnose with cancer. And now a doctor was just charged. Basically, he was telling all of his patients they had cancer, and he was charging Medicare and Medicaid.
My grandmother had her lung cut out.
$65 million a year.
My grandmother had her lung cut out, and it led to her death about 5 years later. She was a great lady, my dad's mom. They said she had a lung tumor, and it wasn't even a lung tumor. It was like a broken blood vessel, a blood clot. And they knew it and just still cut her lung out. And now they've got these genetic tests where they tell everybody they've got cancer, and they run in and get all this stuff. That's why so many kids, you know, a lot of it is they're getting cancer because of the toxins, but a lot of it's being overdiagnosed. You're absolutely right. Dr. Group, we're posting your press release on InfoWars.com. God bless you. Have a great Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to everybody over there.
Absolutely. Now, before I go any further, I want to just tell viewers and listeners something. You are the InfoWar. You're the reason we've had all this success. God bless you. We couldn't do it without you, so I want to thank you all. You are the InfoWar. Know when you spread the word. Know that when you spread the links and articles, when you pray for us, when you buy the products, you're getting great products at great prices, but you're also funding the information war. And we need to have money to be strong in the face of the enemy, and the congressional plans and others to come after us. We need to be strong when they're planning to overthrow the Electoral College. They denied all that up until today. Now they're admitting that they're trying to overturn it next Monday on the 19th, and that they intend to continue right on until the 20th to disrupt things. But again, it's military. They deny they're doing it while they do it in your face. That is a military tactic of very corrupt organizations. Alex wants to kill me, but there is a coup. But he lies and says there's a coup. You know, this is the disinfo they're putting out. So if you want to support us and get great products before Christmas, I was going off last year's numbers. We've got some good news. USPS guarantees delivery anywhere in the United States, all 50 states, if it's shipped by the 19th. So I guess that's Sunday. But I still want to just have folks order by Friday for Christmas to guarantee it. That's anywhere in the U.S. Now, if you want Guam, you got to order by Saturday the 18th. Now, you can order by December 20th everywhere in the United States that's yellow, and everywhere by December 21st that's in orange, and that's most of Texas, or part of Texas. So you can order anywhere in the continental United States by December 20th. That's Monday. It's got to be the 19th if you want to be in places like Alaska or places like Hawaii. So that's the numbers on that. We have 50% off on colloidal silver. We have free shipping store-wide on everything from water filtration systems to solar systems to Hillary for Prison 2017 shirts. It's all there. Living Defense, 30% off. Supermel Vitality, 25% off. Survival Shield X2, 30% off. BioTrue Selenium, 30% off. Brain Force Plus with 20% more in each bottle, 33% off. Can't say DNA Force. I told them to pull that because there's only like 100 bottles left. I'm going to hold that back. Everybody that signs up for auto ship, we always hold stuff back. You never run out. Get an additional 10% off. And you know you are funding the desperate last-ditch attempt to save the Republic and the planet from the technocracy and the scientific dictatorship, in their own words. And look, it's working. We're fighting back. We're promoting liberty and freedom. People are responding. We're in the war. We're in the fight. We're taking it to them. We're committed. We're alive. We're striking back. We'll never give in. We'll never surrender. We'll go on to the end, to quote Churchill, whatever the cost may be. And you're so alive when you have that attitude. You finally aren't a worm. You don't care anymore about the globalists and their fear tactics. You only care about liberty, and now you're truly living. So thank you for all your support. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, or 888-253-3139. Don't wait. Take action today. Now, let's go ahead and go to this key report where they're absolutely trying to crucify myself, and by that, the free press and everything this country and free societies stand for. See if you can catch all the lies and all the disinformation, because they are legion. Citizen YouTuber known as Know Your News has put together a compilation titled The Character Assassination of Alex Jones. Now, the compilation just takes some of the latest clips of mainstream corporate media demonizing yours truly, Alex Jones. This is being done to demonize the entire free press in this country. What you're witnessing is the same strategy used in the last 20 years to censor the press that the communist Chinese have used. They simply call any opposition or any free speech fake news and promptly arrest you. It's not a coincidence that control of the internet was handed over to an international consortium headed up by the United Nations 2 months ago, or that Saudi Arabia has been placed on the UN Human Rights Commission board. Tyranny is expanding. tyranny is moving against free speech because it cannot coexist with a free, open society.
Just for the benefit of anybody who's not familiar with Alex Jones and INFOWARS, we've seen Trump both retweeting things kind of straight out of the INFOWARS world and Alex Jones. What is INFOWARS and Alex Jones, and why is Donald Trump taking pages out of their playbook?
Well, it's a website. It's really one of the darkest corners of the media online, if you want to call it that. They don't do traditional journalism, but they spread a lot of theories.
The radio host, Alex Jones, who claims that 9/11 and the Oklahoma City bombings were inside jobs.
Jones has frequently promoted toxic conspiracy theories that sometimes take on lives of their own.
Again, you can see the unedited version of the character assassination of Alex Jones on Adam Green's excellent channel. But I've decided to intersperse throughout this video just several points to see if the viewer can pick up on the blatant propaganda. By the way, this is only a small sampling that you're seeing of the attacks. NPR attacks me every couple hours. They've got surrogate Democratic Party operatives all over local news attacking me. It is a full-out assault on the threat. They know that I'm aware of their program. I'm using their own documents, their own statements against them, and they want to take down the news source that is hurting them the most. That's why it's more important than ever that you spread the word about INFOWARS.com, our articles, our videos, our information, because it is the equivalent of high noon to these psychic cultural vampires.
I don't know what happens in somebody's mind or how dark their heart must be to say things like that. But Trump doesn't challenge these lies. He actually went on Jones's show and said, "Your reputation is amazing. I will not let you down."
INFOWARS is the conspiracy theory mega website where the dimmer bulbs among us have long gone to get themselves brightened up without benefit of a surge protector.
No one blows lid quite like host of INFOWARS, Trump advisor, and alien Sasquatch love child, Alex P. Jones.
Uncover aliens.
Captain of America's conspiracy theory mothership, Alex Jones.
A guy named Alex Jones, who I happen to find very entertaining. He's one of those guys who believes Bigfoot was responsible for 9/11. He believes everything.
INFOWARS host Alex Jones, the liar-in-chief, the self-described libertarian, traffics in disinformation and unfounded innuendo. The Southern Poverty Law Center has called him the most prolific conspiracy theorist in contemporary America, and that's saying something.
Notice they use terms like liar in chief when it's known that Obama has been caught lying to the American people over and over and over again about Obamacare, about wars, about borders. It's critical to understand that the predators of mainstream media, of fake news, are preying on an audience that they believe is unconscious and stupid. Here's a great example of it. Not just in these TV pieces, but all over newspapers that I see every day. They show photos from Cleveland, Ohio at the RNC where the state police pulled me out of a crowd when communists were viciously attacking me and protected me and got me to my car. But all over the news, they keep showing images of this, implying I'm a criminal, making it look like I was being taken into police custody. The overt message, not just subliminal, is Alex Jones is dangerous and needs to be arrested.
Well, Alex Jones is someone who's one of the chief conspiracy theorists on the far right. Trump went on his show during the campaign and talked about how Alex Jones enjoyed a wonderful reputation.
Alex Jones, he is this amazing showman.
They hate you. They hate prosperity. They hate God. They hate children. And goddamn them to hell. They turn my face red there.
He yells.
All
he
fake.
Growls. He has this incredible gravelly voice.
We're going to beat your ass.
He's a quite arresting media figure, and he is thumbing his nose at the mainstream media, which he considers to be pawns of a global elite that he's very suspicious of and that he suspects is bent on world domination. In the process of making these allegations, he has thrown out some pretty remarkable claims.
There's no end to it with Alex. He's a serial liar. He doesn't care about the truth at all, at all.
No, more importantly, he doesn't care about the safety and well-being of fellow Americans.
Alex Jones is a lunatic. cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. The guy's an absolute lunatic.
What's the goal here with
these? The goal is to undermine the credibility of institutions. This is a guy Donald Trump had traffic with. This is a guy that General Flynn's son retweeted copiously. So essentially what this is you undermine these institutions, you cast doubt on everything, mainstream media, all the institutions in the country, and then you get your fame and following.
When you look under the name, who is this person? When it says New York Times, it says Washington Post. That's what it means. Journalist, reporter. When it says Democratic strategist or whatever, or advocate or surrogate, you see who's talking.
The Southern Poverty Law Center concludes that Jones appeals to right-wing extremists. The center studies hate groups.
He's, in a way, the gateway drug to white supremacy in the United States.
Alex Jones, a conservative conspiracy theorist and operator of the website INFOWAR, which seems to be a place where Trump gets a lot of his information.
This is the man who's going to be president of the United States, following INFOWARs, talking about which I don't know anything. It was an inside job.
Right. I don't know anything about INFOWARs.
Does it scare you that the president-elect is listening to INFOWARs?
Right. I am not here to vouch for INFOWARs. I don't listen to INFOWARs.
Right, but the president-elect seems to.
Right.
They're attacking us on CBS News, ABC, NBC, CNN, MSNBC every hour. I mean, it's so bad, it's good. Because their dwindling audiences are only going to come to InfoWars.com. And our numbers are just continuing to rise, dwarfing CNN, dwarfing the New York Times online. They say it's time to censor the media and it's time to shut down InfoWars and Alex Jones. They're really on TV because we've kicked their butts and proven they're the fake news, saying censor us.
Lately, there's been a lot of coverage in the real news about the growing and booming business of creating fake news.
President Obama called the spread of fake news online a threat to democracy. Facebook and other social media sites are being criticized for not doing enough to stop bogus stories that seem to dominate the election cycle.
Remember, this is the mainstream media that got caught in thousands of emails from MSNBC to CNN to Newsweek to the Daily Beast to the Daily Show, having their scripts approved by the Clinton campaign, by the Ford Foundation, and by George Soros. And now they're sitting around attacking us, saying we're the fake news when they have the history of lying in polls, you name it.
A series of fake news stories and unproven conspiracy theories surrounding Hillary Clinton have persisted on social media since before Election Day.
There's so much fake news out there. The fake news is having such an influence on our lives that today, and this is true, Pope Francis said media that focus on scandals and spread fake news to smear politicians risk becoming like people who have a morbid fascination with excrement.
But see, Colbert thinks you're dumb. He thinks you don't know that he got caught working directly with Hillary and Podesta approving the scripts. But it gets worse. Hillary minions and operatives got caught in the WikiLeaks creating completely fake news stories and narratives, and MSNBC and others follow their orders to a T.
Fake news played a role in this election and continues to find a wide audience.
Well, this is just the latest episode in the damaging influence of fake news, a false conspiracy theory, well, all conspiracy theories are false, about Hillary Clinton.
I'm not concerned about the conspiracy theories. There are so many of them, I've lost track of them. And so I pay no attention to them.
Conspiracy theory machine factory.
You actually have people with college degrees who read these fake news stories and these conspiracy theories and then call all of us up. Is this true?
And young people don't.
Is that true?
Differentiate.
No. Is that true? You know, after about the 20th, I'm like, no, stop.
Part of the reason why we're so susceptible to conspiracy theories right now is that guys like Alex Jones make a ton of money circulating them as widely as they possibly can. They use multiple platforms. They use talk radio and the internet, and they live stream their kind of fake TV shows, and they make a very good living doing it.
When will Alex Jones lose credibility?
Well,
when is
there's
it
an audience. There's an audience for Alex Jones. Alex Jones has been around forever. I'm assuming he will be around forever. Usually this kind of stuff has no major effect on the United States of America other than lowering our median IQ a couple of points and making us seem slightly more embarrassing on an international stage. Right, for every additional year they circulate their insane alien lizard people theories of everything, we get a little bit dumber, and that's the major effect it has on the United States of America. But this year is different. Because this year, that little corner, that little niche of organized and profitable American insanity, this year, they're out of their corner because this year they're presidential politics.
He doesn't care that some crazy, unstable, unhinged person is going to listen to his ridiculous garbage show and believe whatever conspiracy theories he's pushing out there and go out and actually take action. I don't care about his ridiculous rinky-dink show or the conspiracy theory circle jerk he and his friends engage in on a daily basis. But what I do care about is if it literally has an impact on people's lives and could lead to people getting murdered. That's when I care.
She calls me a fat
Of
bastard.
malicious fake news and false propaganda that flooded social media over the past year. It's now clear that so-called fake news can have real-world consequences. This isn't about politics or partisanship.
Oh, no.
Lives are at risk. Lives of ordinary people
like in Libya,
just trying to go about their days, to do their jobs, contribute to their communities. It's a danger that must be addressed, and addressed quickly.
It's not hard to stop this fake news.
Here they go.
If you're Google or if you're Facebook.
Yeah, shut us down.
It's time for these isolated know-it-alls in the Silicon Valley at Google and Facebook to, like, get this stuff together.
Yeah, because you can't stand competition.
They have to have some sort of...
I mean,
because nobody watches you people.
We all live within the First Amendment.
New world.
We don't want to tamper with the First Amendment, but there's something askew here. That
you don't want to get rid of it, but you have to.
They get caught red-handed in basically organized fraud, racketeering against the American people, and they turn the whole thing around to quote fake news and how they want to censor the free press in this country. This is simply amazing. As we speak, they're trying to line up electors who are pledged to their state's voters and have them overturn it for Hillary Clinton. They're talking about how I want civil unrest, how I'm stirring up violence, when they're the ones in Newsweek and the New York Times and the LA Times allowing their writers to call for riots in the streets, civil disobedience, and the murder of the 45th president of the United States. More fake news from a pack of lying scum.
So WikiLeaks, Alex Jones, and these subreddit sub-geniuses, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, grow the up.
Alex Jones.
From INFOWARs.
From INFOWARs.
Yeah.
He's on a war against info.
He's so against a war. He's so on a war.
No, they're the ones that want to shut down the free press.
No one care about the nation.
See, inversion.
Just the info.
The Pentagon. The Pentagram.
You just couldn't stop, but it stops now because I'm afraid this little game is over, Alex. Now that you had to go and open your big mouth, I have no choice but to kill these pickles.
I told you next they'd really try to ban me.
These pickles is on you, Alex Jones.
Turns out the White House writes their stuff. Actual threat.
You say, the New World Order sends its regards.
We got it, bro.
In closing, let's talk about the elephant in the room here. Hundreds of thousands of emails were released. Tens of thousands of them were every mainstream media channel you can imagine talking about deceiving the public, talking about how they were hacks and saying, just give me orders, I'll lie. These very people have now been promoted from Politico to the New York Times because they're liars, because they're deceivers. 3 years ago, the Congress in the National Defense Authorization Act repealed the law that had been on the books for decades, barring the CIA and other agencies from engaging in domestic propaganda and disinformation. Over the weekend, they passed the Countering Disinformation and Propaganda Act that funds $160+ million to this new organization that will, quote, discover and counter with its own disinformation alternative media that they dub fake news. At the very same time, we see mainstream media claiming that Trump, myself, Tucker Carlson, you name it, are Russian agents, and that the American people really wanted Hillary Clinton, but the Russians somehow hacked in, and that's why Trump won. Yes, we've gotten Trump elected, but they're openly trying to overthrow that.
Now more than ever, InfoWars needs your prayers and your support, and I need you to take the articles and the videos that are on the site and realize you're the reason we're having such an effect. You're the power of InfoWars. Get those articles, get those videos, get those special reports out to everyone you know. As we approach Christmas, I'm not even supposed to say that word now. Our country's under such incredible thought police tyranny. It's important to be thankful, and I am extremely thankful to all of you that have prayed for us, that have spread the word about the broadcast, that have supported us, that have defended us, and that have financially supported us. We go out and search for the very best products, and we also develop amazing products and then bring them to you at very competitive prices. So when we have a sale, it really is a sale. That's why this week through the 17th, we can guarantee you'll get delivery before Christmas. Again, if you order by this Friday, the 17th, and you will get store-wide free shipping at InfoWarsStore.com. And on top of that, some of the biggest discounts of the year. All right. The video goes on for another couple minutes and gets into their attack on us, but says support us now more than ever. That's why we're on AM and FM stations, satellite, and things like that, because they're bringing censorship to the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Google. DrudgeReport.com just put this article up 10 minutes ago in the middle of this video. Facebook is going to use Snopes, that's one lady and her cat, in an apartment, and other fact checkers to combat fake news. They're going to basically use the fake list Washington Post has and rubber stamp the St. Petersburg School of Journalism, but really they admit it's an algorithm that if something patriotic or conservative or libertarian is going viral, they're going to spike it. They admit that. So I told you it's here. Drudge told us this a year ago, and they already have these algorithms in place trying to block us. That's why you got to just jam our articles out even more, copy them over to your site, put it under your header. Don't let them intimidate you. This is a total news war. This is a fight for America. So everybody you know, tune in right now. Get our links, get our apps. It's a war. I keep telling you. Let's tell you what's really happening. Communist Chinese net censorship has come to the United States. Congress needs to have hearings about this. President-elect Trump needs to veto the funding for the new CIA/State Department agency that got $160+ million to run it. They've already been caught with some lady professor who, again, her qualification is she wears pink sunglasses and has 2 cats. She actually says that, to put out a fake list of fake news. She had to retract it because lawsuits were getting filed. Washington Post put out another fake list last week and said that these were lists of people that work with the Russians. Lawsuits were being filed. They had to back off that. Now, Zuckerberg has announced today via Business Insider that they are going to work with PolitiFact and others who are famous. PolitiFact came out just last week and said that it wasn't true when there were claims by Trump that these weren't real agency reports, that he was working for Russia. Now they've had to admit that's all true. I mean, PolitiFact is a joke, folks. Not as big a joke as Snopes. Snopes is a complete joke. But hey, it's one lady with a cat. You know, the key is, yeah, Google Truth Police be run by cat lady. Nothing against cats. I got 2, but it's like some it's always like a cat lady. It's like, she is the master oracle. She will decide what's real. I'm not a litigious person, but you talk about interfering in businesses, you're talking about libel, you're talking about slander, you're talking about an attempt to do harm, to make people not come to your site. Look at what Facebook's going to put up. It's just like the Google Chrome with the professors thing they were putting out a few weeks ago, blocking InfoWars, and it puts up a message. Disputed by third parties. Before you share the story, you might want to know when independent fact checkers disputed its accuracy. And then they say they're going to send you to a link to give all these leftist publications traffic. So that's really what this is hijacking free will and traffic. They can't get traffic. They can't get attention. They're collapsing. Their answer is hijackers. You can Google, for now, I guess. Maybe they won't let us get there to our article, actually. Google Chrome blocks InfoWars as fake news. We have screenshots of it there for you. And then they have all the leftist publications double down on propaganda. And they came out and said, Jones is lying. Google Chrome doesn't block him. There is no censorship. Just like No one's trying to overthrow the election. We just want a coup, and these electors are heroes, and Trump's never getting in, and somebody needs to kill him. From Time Magazine to Newsweek to the New York Times, the Washington Post, the LA Times, they have writers saying someone needs to kill Trump, kill Trump. And then meanwhile, if you say, hey, they're calling for violence, shut up, no one's doing that, and no one wants to censor you. We want to shut you down right away, but no one's doing it. Ah, you're a liar, you're fake news. Will CNN be taken down because they've put out fake poll numbers because they said Hillary would win and got caught being directed by the White House and Hillary? The answer is no, 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 no. And all the algorithms are already going into place. I predict this is going to kill Facebook. We're going to continue in that outpost to reach out to the zombies on Facebook, but that's why you've got to commit as human intelligence and open source intelligence, individuals worldwide. I don't care if you're in Nigeria, or if you're in Russia, you're in the United States, you're in Canada, Japan, I don't care. When you get an Infowars.com video, put it up on your channel. Give it another name to get around the box. Test things out. We're in a war. We're in an info war. Years ago, I bought the domain News Wars. Be launching a new site about the whole free speech fight and what's happening very, very soon. I told you we're going to launch an organization for free speech. We're printing. It's here in a couple of days. At Kinko's having problems, thousands of dollars, 100,000 plus signatures to be delivered to Trump. And of course, it's about the media spectacle, the 100,000. You know, oh, look, the country wants you to do something, President. They're calling for banning you on Twitter. If we expose this and fight this, this will bring them down. This is a desperate, criminal, larcenous, deceptive, authoritarian blacklist move that even The Guardian and Rolling Stone, to their credit, says is the end of free speech. This video was just released from earlier today with Owen Schroyer, one of our great reporters, having a breakdown in the hall. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this speaks to Russia infiltrating InfoWars.
What is going on? Oh, my God. Oh, every TV, every news outlet, Russian influence. I'm a Russian agent. I thought I was American. I thought I worked for InfoWars. What is going on? Putin, get out of my head. Russia, get out of my elections. But wait, no, I work for InfoWars. I'm American. I want to make America great again. Trump's an American citizen. But they keep saying his appointments are Russian affiliated. Everyone he works with is a Russian agent. Donald Trump works for Russia. I can't handle this anymore. Who am I? Who am I working for? I want to make America great again. I don't want Russia to be my boss. I don't need Russia influencing my elections. I just want to be a reporter in America. Why is Russia... What? Am I Russian? I don't even understand. Is this a Russian...
Agent Cameron Schroyer. Программа Сила Гоблин 2. Запуск.
Yes, Putin. And that's how Donald Trump became the greatest presidential election in American history, without any Russian influence at all. Now, here's a word from our sponsors with the Kremlin, Infowars.com.
Now, we sit around and we joke, Russia infiltrates InfoWars. There's a longer, really funny one. This one's excellent as well. Owen's a great actor. Coming up with Daria, coming up in the 4th hour today. It should be done with John Rappaport. It's hosting. I'm just going to say this. I've been so close to the problem of tyranny that I've really gotten not comfortable with it, but I'm not scared of it. And we really should be pulling our hair out, running around the streets, figuratively naked right now. Matt Drudge met with a major Supreme Court justice last year, came here to tell you that next year, no matter who wins the election, they're coming after our free speech. It's now here. Congress is having hearings. CNN, MSNBC, they're all saying shut Alex Jones down in the First Amendment. Those are quotes. I played them last hour. Now, when I was done playing that piece, they said, look at drudgereport.com. Let's put it on screen. I'm going to post this on Infowars.com, too, a few paragraphs of it, 4 or 5 paragraphs, and then my latest video, The Crucifixion of Alex Jones, that gets into this, that if they can do this to Infowars, so they're calling for me to have a gag put on me. They actually want us completely shut down. That if they can do that, they are going to do it to everybody. And they said Snopes, a lady with a cat, that's what Snopes is with one other advisor, will decide what's real and what's not. They're going to put a message up so you can't go to a website. They said they're going to block you from being on Facebook. And they're going to use PolitiFact that's famously fake. They still say Obamacare, last time I checked, was free. Then later they admitted it wasn't true. They say the UN isn't involved in our elections. I mean, they just lie and twist and use other pieces of news as disinfo. They list the Washington Post as the most trusted. They had to retract last week saying INFOWAR was run by the Russians. So this is just an incredible time to be alive. So I told you this was coming. Facebook is going to use Snopes and other fact checkers to combat fake news. Business Insider. Facebook is going to start fact checking, labeling, and burying fake news. Burying. Oh, burying. And what do they call INFOWARs? The #1 fake news in the country. The company announced Thursday the decision comes after Facebook received heated criticism for its role in spreading a deluge of political misinformation during the presidential election. They're also announcing that most news sites are going to end the comment section. They don't want to spend money censoring it. Again, they've always just got some weird smiling glad-hander like the spokespeople and the Snopes people going, oh, don't forget, the Pope comes out and says that liking alternative media is liking sexual pleasure from feces. When this guy's covered up the pedophile scandal, you name it. But they say there's no such thing as pedophile scandals. They're now saying Penn State didn't happen. I'm not kidding. That's now not true. To combat fake news, Facebook has partnered with a list of media organizations, including Snopes, ABC News, oh, wow, Mr. WMDs, that are part of the International Fact-Checking Network. Oh, an international group. Oh, the UN's involved now, led by Pointer, a nonprofit school for journalism located in St. Petersburg, Florida. That's who rubber stamps. It's really an algorithm and a blacklist. Starting as a test with a small percentage of its users in Facebook, it's a tattletale system, will make it easier to report news stories that are fake or misleading. They're going to pick in their algorithm liberal users. You've got to go on in the InfoWar, create a fake liberal network. I'm telling you what you have to do. We're going to do this as well as a project. We need more crew. We need more men. We need more women. We need more fighters. So we get selected to be part of it so we can then go out and report CNN, MSNBC, all of them as the fake news, caught by WikiLeaks in fake news, planning fake stories. The new fact checker for the New York Times they've hired is the guy that said, I'm a liar, I'm a hack, I want to deceive people, tell me what to say. Remember that? He now is going to be the fact checker at the New York Times as a cruel, sick joke. He's promoted from Politico to the New York Times. Owned by a Mexican kingpin. You cannot make it up. A company representative told Business Insider that the network would also use signals like algorithms that detect whether a story that appears to be fake is going viral. Yeah, like a meme with she lied, 4 died, talking about Navy SEALs and an Army guy. Just pictures of men, can't share that. To determine if it should label the story as fake and bury it. Oh, bury it. Burying news like the communist Chinese do. Oh, this is the end of free internet. This is the new censorship, Chinese style, that Zuckerberg consulted with this year with the Chinese censors on the system and chose this one. And they were going to roll it out whether Trump won or not. What does Trump got to do? Because they've listed they want to take him off Twitter as well. Trumpers come out and say, this is not, you can't do that in America. You have to adjudicate in court that something is libel or slander, something he's called for. That's fine. And he's got to come out and unfund the CIA trying to run this. This is crazy. Here's the deal. Historically, when they try stuff like this, it always blows up in tyrants' faces. Now everyone's going to value getting info out. They're going to value this show more. They're going to know the system trying to stop them, and they're going to work harder to expose it. We focus our efforts on the worst of the worst. I'm listed as the worst of the worst with no evidence. On the clear hoaxes spread by spammers. And they list me as promoting Bigfoot and a wasp under the Capitol. We played the clips. I don't talk about wasp or Bigfoot. Or they misrepresent what I say about 9/11 or Oklahoma City. We focused our efforts on the worst of the worst, on the clear hoaxes spread by spammers. Like the New York Times ran an article about fake news this week with saying that Alec Baldwin had died in their news feed. So is the New York Times banned because that happened? Because here's what's going to happen. You want to discriminate against me, Facebook? You don't delist the New York Times for lying about yellow cake uranium. We're going to go pull the articles that are up. And lying about 97% chance Hillary would win and fake polls. and saying Alec Baldwin was dead at 58 this week. I'm going to prepare that. I'm going to sue you. I don't want to, but I have to. And I'm going to show a jury all their lies and then show what we really said and did and show you censoring articles about people calling for Trump's death, something Snopes says isn't real. And I'm going to sue Snopes for their treacherous, torturous interference and all the rest of it. That's why other news sites have been pulling it. You go ahead and you do what other bodies have done. What happened to the law firm that sued us 5 years ago? People can look it up. What happened? Disbarred. Anybody say Barratry? You don't really talk about these victories on air. We do things behind the scenes. I told the Washington Post I was going to sue them if they didn't retract that I work for Russia, and that and they came out and said, the list is fake. We don't know where we got it. Yeah, and now the head of intelligence has come out and said Russia didn't do anything. And the CIA didn't. I had a individual on earlier. I had a CIA contractor on earlier. Laying all this out. People are like, oh, I bet you got sources. That's more fake news. Oh, yeah, like the fake news people don't know anything about behind the scenes what's going on. I mean, if the mainstream media knew who I can talk to, who I talk to, and what I do, they would crap all over themselves. I think they got a good idea. This is the last gas to take the country over, and Trump has got to come out and expose it. Now, I'm going to go to Larry Nichols, who came on yesterday, and I got to say he's got a lot of credibility. We're going to take him to the end of the hour. Because Larry Nichols came on yesterday, and he said at about 12:30, he said, Nancy Pelosi's hopping mad at you. I got this from Sessions guy. And they're coming after you, and they're going to call for you to be banned and shut down and blacklisted, and they're going to have congressional hearings and try to have suits saying you're calling for violence. And I don't know why Pelosi's so mad, but she's leading the charge. Then on Fox News that night, her daughter comes out and says, I want her dead, and I need to be shut down. And then 3 other channels say I've got to be taken off the air. We're going to skip this break, because who knows, the show will even be here soon. And by the way, a lot of other talk show hosts think, oh, they'll just go along and toe the line and be left alone. That's how they win. We've all got to speak out. We've all got to say it's wrong, or the new fairness doctrine for the internet's here, which they've called for. But notice they always deny it while they organize it, because they don't want us to ever organize against it. Notice they waited, not on big election, not the day after to try to overthrow the electors or have a recount that gave more votes to Trump. No, they waited till Christmas now. Just like the NDAA and all the other, Federal Reserve and the IRS all got passed on or before Christmas. They're all waiting till Christmas time when you want to sit down and watch a football game and have some turkey, and I don't blame you. Or go for a hike, or go to the movies, or go to the church, or go hear some Christmas carols. And they're waiting while you're sitting there trying to enjoy yourself, about to ram this through. And let me explain something. Being the spearhead, because we work hard, we're focused, we got great sources. All the glory goes to Jesus Christ, my personal Lord and Savior. And then the rest of the credit goes to you, the listeners, and Matt Drudge and the Patriots and our guests and this great crew. But let me just tell you something. My spirit is, I don't like psychopaths and control freaks. I don't like bullies. And I just cannot help but fight them. I'm fulfilled. Don't feel sorry for me. Feel sorry for this country. Because let me tell you, being the very first one over the barbed wire is dangerous, but that's also where destiny lies and Valhalla lies. I'm here to tell you. So I'm fulfilling my ancestors' destiny through me. They're all there, proud, lined up with me right now, and it's good to be tied into them. I live forever in reverse, in the present, and forward. As long as humanity isn't destroyed, I'm eternal. I already live forever. And then there's another spiritual domain. Everything with God's in threes. And the genetics, all of it proves it. This is the big secrets. It's why they hate me. This is the secrets they've even sought after and don't even understand them all. And the point is, more of this knowledge is coming into the world. The enemy will be broken. Make no mistake. The enemy is broken. But you have to understand, they're dangerous, they're horrible, they're evil. They could set off nukes to stop Trump getting into office. They could start a war. Obama just ordered massive troops to flood to the Russian border. That's in the news today. The Fed's raising rates to try to kill the economy because it's starting to grow so fast because of Trump. They've been strangling it themselves, consolidating it on purpose. It's all happening. It's all real. They hate us because we are the truth. We make mistakes? Yeah, like 2% of the time probably. Do they misrepresent what we say and take stuff out of context? Yes. because their whole world's ending. And I want the traitors in the media to know something. No matter what you do, you're over. Mainstream media is over. They already planned to use you to discredit the press itself because they hated the old press that was not perfect but endangered the globalist. Now they've used you as their minions to discredit your profession. Now they hope you'll support the end of the free press completely. Then you'll be shut down, and it's going to be press releases out of government and corporations with their own press spokespersons that are put out as transcripts, and then no one else will be allowed to basically challenge it, or they'll be censored with an internet ID that China's already put in place. And an internet social networking algorithm. Remember a year ago, Drudge ran our story that they're going to use a social network social score in China where if you criticize the government and corporations, you get downvoted, and soon you can't have a job unless that score is at least in the 70s. And we said they're going to bring an internet ID here for taxation control. They're going to bring filters in. They're going to give your website, your Facebook, your page a score. They're going to start listing Facebook users and Twitter users as not trustworthy, as bad. They're going to make you wear a yellow star like Jews in Germany or a pink triangle. But now it's going to be a big F for fake news. This is the pure essence of authoritarianism, labeling people forcefully with little secret algorithm boards of little hateful lapdog globalists that'll put out lies. And they think they're going to beat you just like they thought they'd beat Trump. Trump needs to come out against it. I'm sure he will. Strong lawsuits need to be filed. And all of you now, over this Christmas holiday, need to fight as hard as you can, spreading links, articles, videos, our breakdown of all of this. This is the time. I told you it was coming. Now you see. Were we fake news? Told you last year they're going to shut down free speech this year or try. Is it happening? Is that fake? No. We got too much credibility. I always said, what are they going to do as everything we talk about comes true? When our credibility explodes, that's when the tyranny comes in. That's when the shutdown happens. But we didn't just lay down and wait. We affected the battle space. Larry Nichols, you said, so walk through what you were told by Sessions Guy, the to-be Attorney General, who's desperately, as you said, trying to find out how to block them, banning free speech ahead of Trump getting in. Obviously, they're going to shut down speech ahead of trying to overthrow him or kill him. Now, and then Pelosi's daughter, who I didn't say she's going to kill Trump. She says, I said she's going to, go after Trump. I didn't say that. This is her lies to say I'm victimizing her. Her people admit it's a coup. But so that just proves you were dead on with that. I talked to some other sources. That is the case. They're seriously crazy enough, even though it's not in law, to try to go in and put a gag order on my free speech outside of even libel suits, any of it, just a carte blanche European-style ban on speech. This is really happening. So recap what you said yesterday, and then let's get into the latest information. Larry Nichols, former Clinton insider.
You bet, Alex. The thing that happened was they intend to get 2 congressmen, I don't think they have them yet, that are going to file lawsuits against you, not just for fake news, but for inciting violence. Yep, inciting violence. And once they filed the suit, of course, it's going to go to a federal judge that they already have apparently picked out, and he will put a gag order on you immediately until the case is adjudicated. They're coming after you. They're coming after everybody that is against Hillary. They are planning, Alex, 100% to take this election back through the Electoral College. Now, you've got to understand, Alex, and all of you, you've got to. If they can stop Trump, then guess what? There's no Sessions, no Jeff Sessions as Attorney General. Then you're back in the mode, Alex, of who are you going to call to stop it? Imagine this stuff that they're bringing forth against you. And Loretta Lynch is the Attorney General. Who are you going to fight it with? Huh? Who are you going to fight it with? How many times have I come on this program over the years? You have to excuse me, I'm kind of throwing up right now, but over the years, how many times have I come on this program and told you absolutely, with specificity, what was coming? How many times?
Many times.
And it comes. But you got to understand, folks, you don't see one word of it in the media. And I appreciate you, Alex, pointing out that all of this maneuvering for this electoral college, isn't it odd that it's going on during Christmas when the public, guess what, genuinely interested in something else, like when they have their big information dumps. When do they do them? They do them on Friday. Why? Because they know everybody's in.
And now they're doing it over the holiday. So let's break down the timetable. It looks like they're going ahead with this even if Trump gets in or not. What do we have to do to counter this? Because clearly you said you don't, I don't know what you've done to Pelosi, but she's insane. She's coming after you. Recap what you were told.
Well, I was told that she is leading the effort in Congress to put you out of business, Alex. It's not a joke. It's not rumor. It's not fake news. She's doing it. She's pulling all the strings in Congress. Now, they've also got willing accomplices, I found out this morning, from the media, of course. And the media is working in concert to bury you. They're going to bury you with false articles.
Sure, they're demonizing me. They're killing me politically before they physically try to shut us down.
You got it. And then you have to understand, folks, I know y'all are out there thinking, well, the whole world knows what we're talking about. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. 90% or better of the people in America right now get their news on ABC, NBC, and CBS.
Or they just don't even tune into it. And of course, if I'm going to be shut down, I must have done something. And then the case is set to shut everyone else down.
Where there's smoke, people think there must be fire.
Now, let's expand on this, though. I've talked to people.
The major media slam you with headlines. The people out there, a bunch of them, a lot of them think, well, he must have done something. You know, Alex, you must have done something, or they wouldn't be loading up on you. They have no concept that this coup is underway. Dear God, we're about to lose our country.
Well, by the way, the Democrats have now come out and said that it is a coup. So now they're admitting they do plan it. They went ahead and uncloaked today. They've got a bunch of Hollywood folks out saying overthrow Trump. They're calling for civil unrest. They're calling for his death. They're calling for banning him off the internet. So this is insane, frothing authoritarianism. My sources in defense intelligence, the CIA, and the highest levels of some other agencies say that if Hillary and them try this, the gloves come off.
Well, now, I can't tell you where I got it, but once again, I just ask you to, in a case like this, to rely on my history. But there are people right now that are coming out and shutting down to anyone that will listen that the CIA had no proof of any activity from the Russians to be involved in this election.
Well, Clapper's come out. Lawrence had to admit it. They're getting their butt handed to them right now. That's what I'm telling you is, like, Pelosi and all of them think they're so tough. They might be able to take me out, but, man, that's it. Just everybody knows. They see me. I'm telling you, I'm seen as the trigger. We'll be right back. Stay there, Larry. The fastest way to bring down a tyrant is make them get out in the open. We've cut across their operation. We're drawing their fire, and this just smells like victory. My gut tells me we're going in the right direction. Intellectually, I see that as well. Larry Nichols is our guest. I'm going to get back to him. I'm talking over him a lot because we're talking about myself, the free press, you, our whole future. You have to understand, every major newspaper is lying about us, putting out false quotes, twisted garbage, you name it. And people say, man, does that hurt? No, I didn't do it. I'm proud of what I've done. Just because they're deceivers and dishonest, I feel sad for them. I feel sad that our country's got so many evil people, but they are disconnected. They're dishonorable. All they care about is ego and going up the corporate ladder, even though the ladder goes to hell. Larry Nichols is our guest. By the way, Larry's been battling cancer. He's a patriot. He really hadn't asked for this, but he's getting sicker and sicker, but you are helping with his medicines. We'll put that up on screen for folks' AOL account. If folks want to send him a donation, either large or small. Also, LarryNichols.live. That's the new URL, LarryNichols.live. So that's his website, Larry Nichols 58, Kensington Drive, Conway, Arkansas, 72034, NicholsLive at AOL.com. I got to tell you, I've been interviewing Larry for 20-plus years, and he said, Pelosi's coming after you. They're going to claim you're inciting violence. And then on 3 channels last night, they said I'm inciting violence, need to be shut down. MSNBC, CNN, and CNBC. We played the clips earlier. And then Pelosi's daughter goes on and says, I'm inciting violence against her. We're going to play that clip in a moment. Didn't say a thing about violence towards her. You just think you're going to say we're going to overthrow an election and have a coup? That's what your cohorts are calling it, and then people aren't going to get pissed? That's your fault, lady. Take responsibility. I take responsibility going up against your kingpin mama and all the rest of the globalist trash and that Nazi collaborator Soros. And whatever happens to me, I asked for it, lady. I love when the globalists threaten me in different ways. They go, you know, we can kill you or we can shut you down. I know you can do that. Not looking forward to it, but I'm going to do what I got to do. I love the threats when I don't give them as many as I used to. Just know it doesn't do anything, so it made me get more energy. But it's just like, well, you think I'm stupid? Oh, you threatened me. I better go away now. I'm committed to this, jackass, because you're scum. You want to hurt people, and somebody's got to stand up against you. You're going to fail and fall like every other piece of crap like you before. We're hitting the bottom, folks. We're coming to the bottom of the cycle right now. There's a long way up now, and it's going to get good. Good for our children, good for our grandchildren. Good in the eyes of God. There's a lot coming. People paid for everything we got now. I'm more than willing to pay for those in the future because they are me. They are you. I love them, the unborn, just like I love myself. Their hopes and dreams are ours. They carry the fire of our species. You can't kill me. The globalists want to kill the species and mutate the species and kill the planet. That's why they're evil. That's what you should fear. They come to kill our very genetics. They're a disease poured out by the fallen one, fallen to this planet to bring us down. Can you see what's hiding in plain view in front of your eyeballs? But our species can beat it. Because for the evil to bring us down, it has to build a technology that we're able to build that it can't. And we can take that technology back at any time. Go back to Larry Nichols here in a moment. I'm not going to belabor this. We need your support. We have nutraceuticals and things that are game changers. We have great T-shirts. Hillary for President 2017. Deport George Soros on the back. Limited edition. Trump's my president. Almost sold out. Red shirt. Wear the out in public. Get the word out. Don't let them intimidate you. We've got 50% off colloidal silver. Free shipping store-wide. I should mention that. 30% off. 50% off. 25% off the lowest we've got on all our best sellers. InfoWarsStore.com. InfoWarsLife.com. And a lot of stuff selling out. DNA Force is sold out. Or I'm told it is selling out any hour now. If you sign up for auto ship, we hold some back. That's 10% off. On top of all the discounts, when you sign up for auto ship. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com. My dad retired 3 years ago because of Obamacare. He's a dentist, oral surgeon, and chemist. We work with some of the biggest toothpaste makers in the country. And it was just, and we wanted to be able to have it stabilized within the high-quality non-fluoride toothpaste to have iodine, high quality, and nano silver, as well as peppermint and tea tree oil, a bunch of other great ingredients. This has got it. You want amazing toothpaste? This is it. It's super blue, non-fluoride toothpaste, $9.95. You're like, well, most toothpaste is $4 or $5. That's what it costs us to make it. This is really special. InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. We've sold out a half of it in 2 days. It'll be months till we get more. We need your support now with the enemy, what they're planning, all the things they're doing, their offensives. But if you just move a finger, all of you collectively, it'll overthrow their system. It'll fund us to go to the next level. It'll do everything. So pray for us. Spread the word. Don't take InfoWars for granted. Realize we're under attack. Spread those videos. Spread those articles. The crucifixion of Alex Jones. Very important article. Because as they crucify and demonize us, they're crucifying and demonizing you in preparation to silence you. Every traitor, every piece of garbage, like Sinker, the Young Turk commander, who denies there was an Armenian genocide. And he calls himself a Young Turk. What's that tell you? I mean, they're all on there, folks, saying, shut me up, shut me down, and lying. Because they can't compete because we're busting them up. Trump gets in office, he's got to reverse this attack on free speech. We defend the second, we defend the fourth, the 10th, all of them. The number one, baby, the big one is under attack right now. All right, Larry, thanks for holding while I broke that down. Go ahead and go through this. I got a bunch of headlines I want to cover. But bottom line, what's the time frame?
Newsflash is between now and the end of the year. I got a newsflash. The House and the Senate, under Democratic leadership, are submitting a bill that they're trying to push through with the help of, now I don't know who they are, high-ups in the Republican Party, is what I was told. And they are calling for essentially a 501c3 type approach to alternative news on the internet. Now, they feel like the 501c3 has done an excellent job of shutting down churches, being able to talk about politics from the church. And they want that legislation brought through to shut alternative news. When they say that, they basically mean you and Drudge.
Yeah, it's news licensing.
Now, the other thing, and I talked to a very high-up general, I won't say his name, that was high up in the invasion of Iraq. And he thinks Trump may have actually gotten to the military in a cool way, he said, in that by Trump picking the generals that he has for the leadership roles in his cabinet, the military have turned 100% against the Joint Chiefs. And this is significant, Alex, because this means that we may have, just what you were saying earlier, we may have the force down below the Joint Chiefs, that they're not going to go along with all of these illegal orders that are being passed down and will be passed down in the very coming future. So, yeah, there's resistance building. The thing I fear, and I do fear it, is what happens. What happens if they are successful at flipping this election and giving it to Hillary? You know, I worry about your audience, about this movement that was behind Trump. You know, the American people, the average American has been pushed into a box. And when they see it stolen right out from under us, there's going to be no doubt anymore, Alex. It's not going to be secret. It's not going to be cute. It's not going to be hidden from the public. The public's going to see through this. What's going to happen? You know, that scares me. And they're prepared, of course, with the FEMA provisional government plan. They're ready for what? Provisional government, what's called martial law. They're ready for anarchy, and they believe it to come. So I ask everybody, dear God in heaven, please, you spread the word about this electoral college flip. Alex, just what you've done, talking about it. Last night, I hear Hannity talking about it. He wouldn't have talked about it until you had brought it out. But the more people know that they're trying this, the more pressure, believe it or not, that is put on these electors. Look, these electors, they're citizens. They've got to live in the communities where they live. They've got to
and they're being death threatened by the Democrats right now who can accuse us of that.
Yes, it's not us. It's not our side. I can't find one case anywhere for anyone trying to get them to just hold the line and vote for the way the people voted. Nowhere do you see any death threats. They're coming en masse from the Democrats. They're coming from the liberals that are just screaming bloody murder, trying to force them. Alex, if we spread the word, if people know about it, I know y'all think, well, golly, what good will that do? You have no idea what good it does.
You saw what you did electing Trump. That's why the enemy's so scared. They know we've almost beaten them.
That's right. And these people are maggots, Alex. They're maggots. And you know maggots don't like the light. They cannot stand the light. Let me give you an example just real briefly. I have talked to a couple out in California. They're in aircraft revision of the Allison engine. They're up against losing their business. Let me tell you why. Because Hillary and Bill made a deal with Ross Perot Jr., the Ross Perot family. Yes, they're still around. And he's been able out in California to buy airports for $1. $1, Alex, get the federal government to shut them down, and then he buys them for $1 to be able to bring in his development of his housing additions. Now, folks, that's what they're doing. That's how they've achieved all this power. They have sold our property. They have sold our rights. And if you don't want that to continue, right now it's that couple in California, bless their hearts. But tomorrow it could be all of you. It can't. You have to strip Hillary of the power to sell.
Well, let me bring this up to you, and then I want to go over some really key information. Larry Nichols, former Clinton top insider, looking at them and what they're doing and knowing how they operate behind the scenes. They seem panicked, but I know they have a plan. But the recount didn't work. Now they're really, on the back of their heels with these electors, but they're moving forward. They're getting called out. What else will they try? And is Obama in on it with them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The White House is knee deep in all of this. Obama knows, don't doubt, folks, that Obama doesn't know that Russia has absolutely had nothing to do with the election. Now, today, I just saw it on the screen. The White House denies the CIA being able to tell Congress and show them any proof or evidence whether it did or did not exist. The White House suppressing this information from getting out. So don't tell me they're not in.
Sure, but what does it signify that Clapper and all these other even established people like Lynch have come out and said today and yesterday, look, Russia didn't hack us. This isn't true. I mean, I guess they're covering their butts because they know this is fake. I talked to several CIA sources and some other sources yesterday and over the weekend and last week. They said this is all pure bull. It's totally made up. And we're on record saying that last week before this all came out.
Alex, the reason some of these people are breaking now is because they know one thing that I know, that I told you yesterday. You let Jeff Sessions get in as Attorney General. You let Donald Trump get in as president. And all of this is going to come to the forefront. It is going to come out.
And he knows he's going to war. That's why he's putting in all these generals and people that will follow orders.
You bet. And all of these people know that there's going to be a day coming to Jesus Day, and there's going to be criminal charges prosecuted against a whole lot of people, Alex, for trying to overthrow the American election. They're trying to overthrow it, and they're using every legal and illegal means possible. And so, yeah, Clapper, Lynch, and those people, they got to get cover. They got to get cover, or they're going to be knee-deep in a case.
By the way, Lynch and Clapper and all of them, I've watched them a lot. They look like they're scared.
You bet. They better be. They better be, because they're in the middle of something that, you know what, they're not confident anymore, Alex, that it's going to work, buddy. They're not so sure anymore that whatever this cabal decides to do is just going to happen now because of Trump.
But Pelosi and Hillary and Soros look completely insane when I see them, and they think they're invincible.
Alex, you can't believe for 1 second that the largest criminal enterprise in the history of the world is going to just lay down because of that election and walk away forever. You can't believe that. You've got to know that these people are willing to go to the extreme. They'll go to the end of the world to complete their agenda, buddy. And you better listen, all of you. They're not through.
I know, and they're waiting till they didn't do it on election day or after because they knew we were all awake and ready for battle. They waited until we left the battlefield. Now they're taking over. Larry, we'll talk to you again soon. Great intel. I know it's true. I checked with some sources, but also get on with their announcements last night after you warned me of that. Pelosi's daughter coming out against me and more. I'm going to end the clip here for you with Pelosi's daughter. Just shameful. She says nobody's trying to overthrow any election. Meanwhile, her surrogates are in the news saying, quote, we want a coup against Trump. And they've got newspaper writers saying, kill Trump. This is incredible.
You just watch out, Alex, because they're coming after you with everything they've got. This flipping of this election determines the destiny of not just you. I mean, that's bad enough that we're talking about you and your company's future. That's bad. We're talking about the future of the country.
No, I know, brother.
So
We're just carrying the coal mine. Thank you. Here's the clip as we go to break.
Cavuto, you owe it to the American people to let me tell the truth and to not lie about what I just said. Yeah, Alex Jones said the same thing about me yesterday. Alex Jones on INFOWARS has said that I want to have a coup and assassinate Donald Trump. Since then, I've gotten death threats, so it's not helpful for me if you're going to lie about what I am saying.
Christine, Donald Trump doesn't come on my show.
That is not helpful for me. It's not safe for me or for my family or for other electors. Please don't do that.
He doesn't come on this show. I have no agenda here. I'm just saying it seems that you do.
Well, no, then don't put words in my mouth.
Look at her arrogance. She thinks she owns this country. She thinks she owns the election. She owns you.
You want the
She's like, Mommy, Alex is being mean to me. We'll get her. We'll get him. Don't worry, sweetie. America belongs to you. We'll beat the bitter clingers, sweetie.
What I want to do is not have
Mommy, why do I look like Frankenstein? I want to be a man. I want to show Alex.
Online attacks that I'm already getting.
You poor baby. Why'd your mommy fund the Arab Spring to kill over 1 million? Oh, you're such a sweet little lady like Hillary. John Report's hosting the 4th hour. In the next little 5 minutes, though, the first 5 minutes, I'm going to go over this graph that I haven't done yet of a simple rendition of how the world really works with news versus fake news. The real paradigm from my perspective. We all see through rose-colored darklies. But look at this article on INFOWARS.com. There were no Russians. WikiLeaks operative claims Clinton emails handed over by disgusted Democrat whistleblowers. One of them got 4 bullets in the back. Then we have intelligence chiefs coming out and saying that. Judges saying that. British ambassador says he met with the person that leaked it. But no, it's the Russians. And like I tweeted yesterday on Real Alex Jones, and the memes everywhere. We've gone out for man-on-the-street interviews in Colorado and in Texas and in California. No one's buying Russians did it. It's all a big joke. Everywhere on the internet's a meme. You know, the Russians ate my homework. The light turned red because of the Russians. I've got, a cough because of the Russians. But here's Hillary. Classic borderline personality disorder is what I'd say. She's got a little bit of psychotic behavior as well. Here's Hillary Clinton. It's everybody's fault but her. You have seizures. You have a brain tumor. You can hardly walk half the time, crazy woman. Stop trying to cling to power, criminal. So here is Hillary Clinton blaming everybody but herself.
Why did Hillary Clinton lose?
There are as many answers to that question as there are people in this country.
What is this electoral college, and how does the person who came in second win the presidency?
Well, we should get rid of the electoral college altogether. It's completely unfair.
I want to get rid of the electoral college.
Just count the votes. It's ridiculous.
Do you believe Russian hacking could actually change the outcome? Yes!
Russian hacking was part of an effort to defeat Hillary Clinton.
Did Russian hacking help sway the election for Donald Trump?
Clinton blames the head of the FBI, James Comey, for stopping her momentum.
There were a number of reasons for this, but lead among them, in my view, would be that letter from Director Comey.
Comey helped Trump significantly.
So-called fake news can have real-world consequences.
The rash of fake news stories on people's timelines influenced the election.
Presidential campaign that won the electoral college fueled by fake news.
The electoral college, Russian hacking.
The Comey fake news. The electoral college, Russian hacking.
Comey fake news.
The electoral college,
Russian hacking. Comey fake news.
Electoral college,
Russian hacking. Comey fake news. The electoral college,
Russian hacking. Comey
fake news. The electoral college,
Russian hacking.
Comey fake news.
The electoral college, Russian hacking.
Comey
fake news.
The electoral college, Russian hacking. Jim Comey.
Fake news.
It suggests
not arrogance, not corruption, not that we're sick of both parties. And it just goes on and on. That's up on INFOWARS.com. We should tweet that out. I got to a lot of the news today. I want to come back and, like I said, hit this graph I've got that I guess Buckley put together with the graphics folks. And it's pretty simple. It doesn't have all representations there, all the different media outlets. It just gives you an idea, a snapshot. I pretty much agree with how it's spread out and how it's set up. That's WorldNet Daily like almost over in the best column. I'd put them in the best column. Again, that's going on. But we're going to show you this for TV viewers and subscribers for radio listeners when we come back. And also have a graph here somewhere. There was an article for InfoWars where we actually posted it. I'm going to retweet that out because I never got to this on air yesterday. It wasn't ready till the very end of the show. But look, here's the deal. This is all up to you. If you want to lose the First Amendment, that means the Second. That means be slaves to the globalists that literally have it out for the American people in their own words. It's in the WikiLeaks. then don't get involved. Don't speak up. Don't defend the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, the Fourth, the Fifth. But the First is very popular, even with the real liberals at The Guardian and places like Rolling Stone have come out and said, this is horrible. Well, it's been done. Facebook's come out and said they're going to have Snopes run everything and basically ban InfoWars. So, and then next they're going to shut our site down itself. This is how they do it. This is a big deal. Spread our links. They hate it. It's coffin nails politically to them. Infowars.com, prisonplanet.com. It's news wars. We're in the middle of news wars. We're defeating them with competition. They want to turn the board over. You know, we engage maybe 2% of the time in satire. Maybe once a month, twice a month, we do a satire video. Or make fun of political correctness, you name it. We always tell you it's satire. It's clearly satire. What MSM does is they take a lot of those and they put them out on channels and say it's real and that we're insane. I'm going to keep doing satire sometimes because it's fun. People like it. I like it. It's gallows humor. We got some really hilarious satire. It's a couple minutes long. At the start of the next segment, I won't be there. And then coming in, Mr. Rappaport from NoMoreFakeNews.com. That's the name of his domain for at least 15 years that I know of. NoMoreFakeNews.com. So he can tell you what the fake news is. But notice Business Insider isn't going to him, that has a site called NoMoreFakeNews.com, and he's been an investigative journalist, worked with some of the biggest TV and newspapers out there as an investigator and as a best-selling author. No, you don't go to him. No. Because mainstream media, it never lies. Facebook is going to use Snopes and other fact-checkers to combat fake news. It says to, quote, bury news that they say is fake. Block it. And it's already what Google Chrome's doing. And they have bots running around saying, I'm making this up and that's fake news. No one's trying to censor me. Which, again, is a military system where they're doing it, where the tank's ramming into the Waco church, saying this is not an assault while soldiers shoot the people inside. Under orders from Janet Reno. Or they say Obamacare's free. No, it's not. Shut up, racist. You're fake news. Now, I put this together with Buckley and the graphics crew yesterday. First off, here's the fake one that they floated out, the Washington Post. Nobody ever says where they get these lists because they don't want to get sued. But it's got InfoWars down here as conservative and as, quote, utter garbage, totally fake. We are the worst. Next is hyper-partisan conservative, questionable journalistic value. The Blaze and Red State are in that. Crossing over from that to skewed conservative, but still reputable, Fox News. The Hill, all this. That's why they had a coup at Fox, and I've got inside intel on that I haven't really given you yet. About how Megyn Kelly was paid $6 million to basically say that Ailes went after her, that whole coup. But got the Financial Times. And then over it says mainstream, minimum partisan bias, and trustworthy. And they say Washington Post, New York Times, NPR, the worst. Sure, they're slick and smooth when they rape your rights, but they are the biggest liars. They're the most trustworthy. Then you got the left over here, and they hardly list anybody. They put natural news on the left. I wouldn't call them left. And Occupied Democrats and groups they don't really control over here. So here's the real one. We're going to retweet out the article that was posted yesterday about this. Forget the exact title of it. Can you guys try to pull it up? I think it's like a graph of, real fake news put out or something like that. And then look, here it is printed up big. Like I'll shoot a special video about this for the nightly news. And you got tyranny over here and state-run corporate influences, okay, on this side. And so the most corporate, most state-run are CNN, NPR, MSNBC, Media Matters, ABC, Time, New York Times, Politico, all those guys going up to independent. So I guess you could say the Young Turks are a little bit independent. They're funded by the Arabs and Soros. So I don't know if that's actually completely accurate. The point is they're not as bad as some of these. So, they're independent, but they're leftist, but not completely. Daily Kos is kind of in the middle, Bloomberg and all the rest of it over here, Newsweek. They're still statist and everything, but they're over here. Vice and stuff's more in the middle. I think that's kind of accurate. I wouldn't say Reuters is. We could probably change this up, but it's not perfect. The Intercept's kind of in the middle. I think that's accurate. Rolling Stone is. They've done some good work, a lot of bad work. LA Times had a little bit fairer polls, not quite a state-run, but they're still calling for killing Trump. WorldNet Daily's over here with folks, and the New American, the Daily Caller, and others like Breitbart as being the most accurate with InfoWars and Prison Planet. That's what we did is kind of reverse their graph. That's why it's not, perfect in my mind. But all this is just a way to illustrate things. We don't claim this is perfect. We don't claim this is the end-all, be-all. We're going to ban sites because it's on this graph and that we're God. This is just our opinion, our view. They're using these lists created by a woman with a cat in an apartment. I don't know why. It's like old people, they use it. It's like a woman with a cat. It's like that's the magic proof. I'm not joking. To just say you're banned, you're off the web, you're bankrupt, you're living in a ditch, your speech is stolen because we're liberal. So coming up, a very special piece. Oh, they've got the proof on me all right.
Activate Comrade Jones, phase 2. Yes. Understand. Да. Все идет по плану. Можете рассчитывать на меня. Да.
This morning, the Washington Post reporting that a secret CIA report found Russia interfered in the U.S. election to help Donald Trump win the White House.
We are at war with Russia.
Greg, Russian cyber spying on the United States is not anything new or anything unknown, but it seems that this takes it to an unprecedented level.
It's been a cozy relationship from the beginning.
I will not let you down. You will be very, very impressed, I hope. And I think we'll be speaking a lot with
Donald Trump and Alex Jones.
The nation and all of our freedoms hang by a thread, and the military apparatus of this country is about to be handed over to scum who are beholden to scum, Russian scum.
You got all that?
I was in there, they took me in the dark, oh my blue guy.
Активация программа Альфа-Браво Гоблин. Mr. Jones!
Oh, yes, my
report.
comrade.
What's your report? Mr. Jones, you've been activated. This is very important.
Yeah, comrade.
You've done your job so well. The first part of our mission is accomplished. Mr. Trump is in the office soon. We have to build the wall. We have to bring the jobs back. We have to build the economy and family.
Yes, defeat the Americans. Defeat the Americans. Stop the tranny bathrooms. Yes, yes.
Yes, Mr. Jones.
Oh, now let me tell you, some of it is good, some bad. They loved Hillary, so beautiful and pure, and we turned them from the beautiful angel to the devil. I'm sorry. I was in America. I learned that Hillary was good.
No, we have to continue to do our mission.
But comrade, he will get angry. They learned that our top agent is Tucker Carlson, the congressman.
Yes.
The congressman on TV on the Fox News.
Okay.
Expose us.
You're carrying water for the Kremlin.
I'm not carrying water for the. You're a sitting member of Congress on the Intel Committee, and you can't say they hacked.
You're gonna have to move your show to RT Russian television because
you know what?
That's
just so beneath your office because it's so dumb and you're being duplicitous.
Our programs are moving forward to cut the taxes and to allow the Americans to breathe again, and the program is working to contain the collapse of the United States so it does not fall to globalism, and the report is continuing to not fund radical jihadis and other evils, and the report is continuing to let the families actually raise their children and not give them the vaccines and lower their IQs. We are destroying America as planned. We are doing well. And it's wrong because Hillary is an angel.
It's also what happens when you listen to the radio host, Alex Jones. I don't know what happens in somebody's mind or how dark their heart must be.
I began to realize that she is an angel and she wants to help me.
No, you've got to be sent for reprogramming. Hillary.
Not reprogramming.
All right.
No, Hillary. Hillary, save me, Mommy. Russian scum.
Mr. Jones.
Russian scum, that's the story. That is the lead story. And Vladimir Putin is the secret president of the United States. Right? Obviously. I mean, that's where all this is going, right? Trump is just the cutout. Putin is the president of the United States. This is what we're being told, basically. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And Alex mentioned in the last segment that my website, nomorefakenews.com, has been around for 15 years now. So I had a little clue at the beginning because I was already working as a reporter for 19 years when I started the website. And I had already noticed much fake news coming from the mainstream media. That's why I gave the site that name. So now all the chickie-doos are coming home to roost. For example, let's look at this here. WikiLeaks envoy Craig Murray, former British ambassador to Uzbekistan, told the Daily Mail that he flew to Washington, D.C. to pick up the handoff of the Clinton campaign email leaks in September. And that the source, according to Murray, had legal access to the information, right? Not Russian hacks. None of this was Russian hacks, Murray says. What does that mean? The source had legal access to the information. It means somebody inside the Clinton campaign decided that it would be fun for once to tell the truth. In an overwhelming tonnage of email release, and so they passed along these emails. They leaked it to WikiLeaks, who leaked it again. That's what happened. Not the Russians, not Putin, not any of these people. Nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that at all. I wrote a piece the other day about the Electoral College people who are demanding a briefing from the CIA. What do they think they're going to get? I mean, even if they had a point, which they don't, what do they think they're going to get? They're going to get a CIA guy who stands up there and says, we have evidence that the Russians hacked the election and gave it to Donald Trump. And then if any of these electors would be so bold as to say, could you show us the evidence? Would you like to present us with the evidence? We can't do that because that could compromise methods and personnel and so forth and so on. But you could trust us because we're eminently believable and we know at the CIA what's what, and we can assure you that the Russians were in this. That's what they would get. That's what members of Congress got. That's all they're getting. They're not getting anything else. So if the CIA and the CIA-connected Washington Post, whose owner, Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon, who has a $600 million contract with the CIA to provide cloud computing services, ding, ding, remember that. If these people really think they can convince the American people, which they're not doing, that Russia and particularly Putin just took over the U.S. election and basically handed it to Trump, it stands to reason they would have to come up with something specific, something objective, some evidence. It's called evidence, folks. You know, the factoids that you assemble and you put out there that are visible to everybody. They're not going to compromise anybody. This is not CIA data anyway. This would be, if it existed, NSA data that the CIA is fronting for. So if they've got the proof and the evidence, let's see it. Let us see it. Otherwise, forget about it. Nobody believes you anyway. Here's what you could believe, though. I want to jump in right now with a commercial because it's Christmas and you'll be aced out if you don't go over to InfoWarsLife.com now. 2016 Christmas Super Sale. All the new super products, 33% off. So let's look at these. Let me get this sheet. Living Defense, 30% off. Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver, 50% off. Brain Force Plus, 33% off. Winter Sun Vitamin D, 25% off. Survival Shield X2, 30% off. BioTrue Selenium, 30% off. Products for your health. Products whose sales supports INFOWARS. It's a win-win. Plus, you get store-wide free shipping. It's Christmas time. Get there before they have no more. Visit INFOWARS Lifecom. Take advantage of the INFOWARS 2016 super sale before they sell out. Before they sell out. Okay. How about Facebook? Loving Facebook. Bankrolled with CIA-connected money at the beginning. I wrote about this a number of times way back when. They don't talk about this in the film Social Network, of course. You should look at the stock price of Facebook sometime. Not today, not last week. Click on maximum. That gives you the total stock price from the beginning when the IPO came in and they went public. I predicted at the very beginning that what was going to happen was it would go down and discourage the people who had invested. Oh, my God, what's happening, what's happening? And it would stay there and stay there and stay there, and that's what it did. Started in at about 40, went way down, and then went way up. And we will be back. Don't go anywhere. John Rappaport back sitting in for Alex in the fourth hour here, talking about Facebook before the break. So their stock price, after plummeting at the very beginning when they went public, discouraging all kinds of people who sold, and then the insiders bought up. And then you look at that stock price, wow. It just goes up and up and up. Yep, let's see, about 120, 125 now. Yeah. It's doing quite well, quite well. If we look at the max, you'll see if you go to click on max, yeah, that's the one. I'm looking at the screen now. If you're watching, you see it started off just a little bit when they released it under 50, went down, stayed down, stayed down, stayed down through most of 2013. Then comes the march, the upward march. Boy, making a lot of money, some of the insiders. So they're now going to use Snopes. That's right. Snopes. A guy and his wife in the kitchen or in the bathroom or on the back porch, I don't know, to decide what's fake news. And then they're going to bury it. They're going to bury it down in their news feed because Facebook now is a big news operation. Yeah. Or they're going to eliminate it entirely. And they will have little algorithms and little robots running around and little whatever, you know, and decide if we don't like it, it's fake news. If we think it's against the establishment, it's fake news. If it criticizes the globalists, it's fake news. If it talks about freedom of the individual, liberty, you know, very dangerous stuff about America being a nation, much less a sovereign nation. Oh, that's bad news. That's got to be fake. That's worse than fake. Let's bury it way down. Let's eliminate it all. That's what Facebook is going for. That's what they're doing. And they're being prompted to do it by major media. I mean, like the Washington Post, New York Times, CBS, NBC, those people. They're appealing to the social media like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and so forth, Instagram. Why? Because social media are getting titanic numbers of hits and views, way more than major media. They're running the show now. So major media is crawling up to them on their hands and knees to help us eliminate fake news. We took such a bad hit during the election. We look terrible now, and we're suffering and in great pain, and we're shocked and embarrassed and humiliated. Wolf Blitzer almost swallowed his tongue on national television when he had to announce that Trump was the winner. It was tragic. It was desperate and tragic. Help us out. Help us bury fake news, wherever it may be. And it all... Do you think anything like this would have happened if Hillary Clinton had been anointed president? Of course not. There would have been no fake news. What fake news? We don't care about fake news. The waters are calm and placid now, say the major media, because our Lady of the Lake has won the presidency, and all is well, and all is smooth and peaceful, and the world is safe again from this monster and his Russian boss who attempted to steal it all. I mean, everything is fine, everything is calm. But that didn't happen. Oh, oops. That's not what happened. A horrible thing instead happened. Major media were caught with their pants down, and it was not a pretty sight. It was shocking. Shocking, I say. And therefore, they had to blame somebody. So they blamed everybody that isn't them. That's basically what they're doing. If you're not us, or with us all the way, then you're the bad guys. And we're going to bury you because you're the fake news people. Well, I can tell you, and I keep saying this because I've been in the biz since 1982, the fake news is coming from the major media. It has always come from the major media. They invented fake news. It was present going back all the way into the dawn of human history. From the first time the first leader said, I think we need eunuchs, boys. That's who we need, is eunuchs. These will be the trusted people, the castrati. No desires of their own. They serve me, the esteemed, august leader. They will spread my news to the people. Of course, it'll all be fake, but it's mine, so therefore it's not fake, if you catch my drift, my logic. And from then on, all the way up until now, John Rappaport sitting in for Alex in the fourth hour before the break. I was basically heading up to the very simple equation. Mainstream news equals fake news. That's the story in a nutshell. That's what they're trying to avoid. That everybody is going to discover that. Everybody is going to figure it out. We're well on the way. We are replacing mainstream news. They are in the twilight. That's their twilight saga fading away as independent news takes center stage. That is what's happening. So they're trying to avoid that any way they can. I've seen them do this before, not with the concentrated force they're attempting to use now, but they're going to fail. They're already failing. It's ridiculous. It's a joke. Putin won the election. It was Putin. The CIA says so. Well, we all know the CIA can be trusted. I mean, we've always trusted them. Isn't that what the left has been saying forever? That you can trust the CIA? No? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, going back to the 1950s and 60s and all the way up until the election, it was the political left that was saying the CIA are nothing but a bunch of liars and criminals that can never be trusted. Oh, yes, that's right. But then all of a sudden, after they lost the election and were so depressed by it, they suddenly said, we can believe the CIA. Everybody can believe the CIA when they say something as outrageous as, well, Putin hacked the election. Yeah, sure. We know that. Yeah. Russian, Putin, Trump, they're all in bed together. Yeah, we understand that. Sure, of course. We've got the evidence. We can't show it to you because, super secret, but trust us. We know. And all of a sudden, the left are holding up the CIA as an example of American purity. Yes, indeedy do. Yes, indeedy do. I love it. Okay. Don't forget, at InfoWarsLife.com, new Brain Force 33% off. 20% more capsules per bottle. New supercharger ingredient, black pepper extract, higher concentration of key ingredients, same low price as original Brain Force. You buy the product, you use the product, it helps you, you help INFOWARS. That's called win-win. InfoWarsLife.com, Brain Force Plus, 33% off during the Christmas sale while supplies last. Go do it. All right, so I want to give you an exclusive here now. Sacrificing children to the state of California. This may take up the rest of the hour, and believe me, you're going to want to hear about it because I've got some information here that you haven't gotten anywhere else. We're talking about a Senate bill, SB 18, and it's in progress. This is not just about California. This is about the world. California is the laboratory where it's happening. This is a bill that's introduced to basically replace parenting with the state, sacrificing children to the state. A bill introduced by the notorious Richard Pan, who is behind SB 277, mandatory vaccinations for school children in California. So I want to just give you a little bit of the flavor of this SB 18. I'm not going to put you to sleep with this because I could easily do it. I call it swamp gas. All children, regardless of gender, class, race, and ethnicity, national origin, culture, religion, immigration status, regardless, sexual orientation or ability, have inherent rights that entitle them to protection, special care, and assistance, including, but not limited to, the following: the right to parents, guardians, or caregivers who act in their best interests, form healthy attachments with adults responsible for their care, safe and healthy environment, social and emotional well-being. Wow, you're waving a wand. This is all just going to happen, right? Attain optimal cognitive, physical, and social development, and so on and so forth. Quality health care. Now, notice there are no definitions in this bill of any of this stuff. It's all swamp gas. But later, if this bill passes, and please understand this, because this is how government works. They have regulatory agencies, you know, like the CDC and the FDA and all of these, and each state has their own agencies. They fill in the blanks. They put in the specifics after the law is passed and signed. So this could mean in California that kids will be forced to take psychiatric drugs, whether they want to or not, whether their parents want them to or not. Or you have to eat a certain kind of diet. Or you can't go to McDonald's, even if you want to. Wow. Who knows? Because the state is taking over. It's their job now, according to this bill, to completely supersede parents in guaranteeing all of these things to children. Any children, as long as they're in California. Doesn't matter who they are, where they came from, how they got there, whether they're legal, illegal, regardless. Rich, poor, everybody's got this. How about child protective services? How are they going to define this new law with their regulations? Well, we can show up anytime we want to at the house, and if we don't like what we see, we just take the kids and we put them in foster care. It's pretty simple. Yeah, we'll take 1,000 pages to spell out all the regulations, but that's what it'll come down to. And it'll be enshrined in law. That's where they're going with this. And if you don't understand it, you'd better wake up. This isn't just like some of the anti-vaccine people in California, whom I salute. This isn't just about vaccines, this new deal, SB 18. This is about everything. Education, religion, no religion, healthcare, medical care, the right to succeed, whatever that means. Parental guidance or guardian guidance by the state. It's about everything that pertains to the upbringing of a child in the state of California, and the state will be in charge of that. Okay? You don't believe me? You better wake up. Now, here's the deal. Where is this coming from? Because in the bill, I don't want to burden you with too much detail, but stay with me here. In the bill, there is a group mentioned called the Peninsula Partnership Leader Council. Who are they? Who's heard of them before? And the reason they're in there, because that council has actually written already a Children's Bill of Rights. And SB 18 is saying, yes, we like that Bill of Rights, and everything in the bill is framed around that Bill of Rights. Okay, so as a reporter, I ask the simple question, and so should you. Who is the Peninsula Partnership Leadership Council? And I will tell you, it's organized within, and get this, the San Mateo County Office of Education. One piddling little California County Education Department. Where are they coming from? The Peninsula Partnership Leadership Council, I'm continuing here, is composed of that, the county superintendent of schools, who cares, the county board of supervisors, who cares, and the Silicon Valley Community Foundation. Bingo, bango, bongo, bongo, hello, hello. The Silicon Valley Community Foundation, sponsoring the Children's Bill of Rights, just happens to have assets of $7.3 billion. Hello. More than some nations. It runs 1,800 philanthropic funds. And here, for your amusement and entertainment and education, are some of the corporate partners of the Silicon Valley Community Foundation. Alexa Pharmaceuticals, Microsoft, PepsiCo Foundation, Cisco, Hewlett-Packard, Bell, Symantec, Unilever, etc., etc. Big time, high-tech, pharmaceutical corporations. You understand? Now, they're in it, obviously, to figure out how they can make enormous profits. But this goes way beyond that. This goes up into the upper reaches of what we could call the technocracy. Because these folks in the government, in the corporations, have a plan. And their plan is to run society every step of the way by planning it, by engineering it, by saying, you and you and you and everybody individually, we set your energy quotas, how much energy you can consume. We decide eventually what your talents are, because you see, we want to fit you into the happiest place you can occupy in society. We are the engineers. Hello. We are the technocrats. We are beyond politics and politicians and parties. We are the upper reaches of globalism. We are planning the world. And our first step is to plan the lives from cradle to grave of the children. That's why we support the Children's Bill of Rights. And that's why we want to put the state in charge of their education, their medical care, their upbringing, who controls them, who parents them, the whole works. We want to put them into our system because we understand that the world is a system. We are the engineers, and we lay it all out. That's what technocracy means. This is science, the triumph of science. This is what's happening, folks. This is what's happening with SB 18. This is what's happening in the state of California. This is what's happening with Agenda 21 of the United Nations. This is what's happening with the smart grid. This is what's happening with, quote, sustainable development. If you want to see and read the book on this, Technocracy Rising, Patrick Wood. Read it yesterday. I don't often make recommendations. I'm into my second reading of the book. It lays it out, the history, the works. Technocracy Rising, Pat Wood. So this is what's behind the entire operation of this new bill that was introduced out of the blue in the legislature of the state of California. It's the technocrats of Silicon Valley, in this case, the Silicon Valley Community Foundation, blithely saying, well, what's the problem? We're just trying to engineer the best society for everybody. Well, it's true, we didn't consult you, the people. We didn't ask you whether you wanted this. Nothing is really set for you to vote on. We're just taking control because we know what's good for you, because we're the scientists, don't you understand? We're the engineers. That's all that's important. We make the blueprint of society. And part of the blueprint is deciding who has water, who doesn't, who eats, who doesn't, how much energy you are permitted to consume, when you go over your limit and what the penalties are. It's a completely enveloping system. That is what technocracy is. And that is the next stage of human evolution. That's what these guys are saying. They're very open about it. It's not hidden. They take it as a matter of fact reality every day of their lives. But you don't, and I don't. And the purveyors of independent news don't. The fake news mainstream does. They're all behind this. They love it. They're terrified that somehow Trump may go against their plan. That's why they have to do away with him one way or another. But this is what's actually going on. Technocracy and the takeover. And that is what's happening with SB 18. And if you live in California, understand that. Understand what's really behind this. Sacrificing children to the state of California. And that's how they're being sacrificed. We don't like your parents. We don't think they're doing a good job. We're going to take the kid away. We don't even have to tell you why. We just know there's trouble. Maybe we think you're a troublemaker, so we take your kids away. So now you learn. Eyes straight ahead, keep your mouth shut if you want to keep your kids. Yes, it could get to that, sure. Right. We want to vaccinate your kid with 20, 30, 50 vaccines. We'll do it because it's under proper medical care, good medical care in SB 18. That's the standard of science that we, the technocrats, support. Therefore, it's going to happen. Psychiatric examinations and screening and drugs, of course. From the age of 2, your child might be given an antidepressant because our doctors perceive scientifically now that he or she at age 2 is suffering from clinical depression. Oh, it's true. We have no laboratory test to diagnose clinical depression. It's a giant scam. You can look it up in the Bible of psychiatry, and you won't find a defining laboratory test for clinical depression. But so what? It's our science. We control the science. And we say that if we want to, we can diagnose your child at the age of 2 or 3 or 4 through screening with depression. And we can prescribe drugs that will, in fact, increase the possibility of your child becoming completely unhinged, violent, suicidal, and so on and so forth. An unfortunate adverse effect. That's where we're heading. We decide that GMO food laced with Roundup and other pesticides is for your child, and that's what your child will get. And we will be back after the break. A few minutes remaining here in the 4th hour. John Rappaport. No more fake news, sitting in for Alex. So just before the break, I was saying, well, look, if the technocrats in California or anywhere, but we're talking about California, decide, look, your kids need GMO food laced with pesticides. This is the best food on the planet. Then that will be the meaning of good upbringing. And if you, the parent, decides to get up on your hind legs and get, tough about this, then you're a criminal. Because if SB 18 passes this bill, they can define good, bad, indifferent parenting any way they want to. They can say whatever they want. You're eating a vegan diet. You think that's a good idea? It's not a good idea. State of California says malnutrition will result. You're eating a paleo diet. You're eating a macrobiotic diet. You're eating this, that, the other thing. Oh, well, eventually the state will get around to saying, look, this is a sign of bad parenting. Or they could say, on the other side, talking to you obese folks now, no more burgers at McDonald's. No more hot dogs. No more sodas. No more junk food. Outlawed. Because SB 18 passed. The state is now the arbiter of what your kids should have and shouldn't have. And we say, no more of that. No more junk food. You have no choice. We don't care what you think. You have an organic garden in your backyard. We don't like that. That's a bad sign. That indicates that you're probably one of these, what would you call them, outliers. Probably have some strange political views, dissident ideas. We know we are the state of California. We are the technocrats. We know that regular food grown with pesticides is the same as organic food. Of course. Therefore, if you have this crazy idea in your head about organic food, you're dangerous. You shouldn't be in control of your kids' lives. You're bringing them up with the wrong ideas. We, the state, decide what the right ideas are. That's what's happening in this bill. And that's why this Silicon Valley Community Foundation with $7 billion is sitting behind it. They're not just playing around and having fun. They're serious, you see. And they wouldn't be serious about some empty, ridiculous bill that just says every child should have a good life if they didn't intend, as time passes, to define what that means. Good life. Good education, medical care, this, that, the other thing, until they have an iron grip upon you, until they've laid out the entire blueprint. That's what they're after. They don't just say, oh, well, let's back this Children's Bill of Human Rights. No. They have an agenda, and this is the agenda, what I'm telling you. Technocracy, that is the agenda. That's where it is all going, step by step. You happen to raise your kid with ideas about the Constitution, Declaration of Independence. Well, you could be in serious trouble if your kid starts quoting those documents at school. We'll see you later. John Rappaport for INFOWARS.com.